They happened in Bartlett. Police say one woman died, another person hospitalized after two vehicles collided yesterday on Route 59 near Auburn Lane. Just 2 hours later, an SUV rolled over on Lake Street near the Route 59 overpass. No one in custody after a shooting over the weekend on Chicago's west side that killed one teen and wounded another. Police say 16-year-old Jaheim Wilson and a 13-year-old were walking in an alley Saturday on West Huron when someone opened fire. Wilson died at the scene. Police in Rockford say those in northern Illinois who know Raheem King need to be wary of Raheem King. Investigators yesterday naming King their primary suspect in a weekend shooting on a private bus that left 3 dead. Officials at a high school in Chicago's suburbs are re-examining use of an Indian mascot after a burst of social media attention. The Tribune reports that the Maine West Warrior does wear a costume and a headdress. School officials had believed poet Mary Littlefield had endorsed that symbol on behalf of the Cherokee people during a school visit in the 1990s. Maine Township High District spokesman Dave Beery says officials say the mascot is under review. Illinois U.S. Senator Dick Durbin spoke about his private meeting Sunday with Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, saying he urged Maduro to uphold democratic rights ahead of Venezuela's upcoming presidential election, but also doubted there would be any changes forthcoming. Drivers in a hurry in Chicago's northwest suburbs might want to take advantage of the Jane Addams Memorial Toll Road. The tollway has raised the speed limit for passenger cars on 2 stretches of the tollway, also known as I-90, between Des Plaines and Elgin from 55 to 70 miles an hour. 70-mile-an-hour speed limit is already in place on I-90 west of Randall Road. Jose Quintana and 3 relievers combined on a 3-hit shutout. Cubs blanked the Brew Crew yesterday, 3-0 in Miller Park. Sox were held to 3 hits and a 1-0 loss to the Tigers. At the rate, Chicago swept in the 3-game series. They're 3-5 on the young season. Sox and Rays do open a 3-game series at Guaranteed Rate Field this afternoon. Lottery balls are up for grabs when the Bulls and Nets square off tonight. Blackhawks season came to a close with a 4-1 loss to the Jets in Winnipeg. Patrick Reed, your champion at the 2018 Masters Tournament in Augusta.
I think the biggest thing was just, of course, I felt like the game was in a little better shape coming in, but just the experiences from in the past. I knew the golf course a little better. I had a little bit more experience around the course this year coming in.
Ricky Fowler made a late charge but came up short, finishing second at 14 under par. The Nevada Wolfpack will get a rematch next season against the team that bested them in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA basketball tournament. The Reno Gazette reporting that Loyola is among the 8 non-conference teams Nevada has already scheduled for next year. The news, a service of Al Piemonte Ford. Stop before you buy your new car. You must visit Al Piemonte Ford now. Truckloads of new cars and trucks have just arrived, and everything is priced to sell quickly. Al Piemonte Ford is at 25th and North Avenue in Melrose Park. 5:08. Check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The best conversations happen with a cigar in one hand and a fine drink in the other. Join Larry Elder live in Chicago for Cigar Night on Thursday, May 17th at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Larry will be joined by AM 560's Dan Proft for an evening of cigar smoking and good conversation. Tickets start at $29 and include a cigar. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/cigar before they sell out. Sponsored by Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-471-9807. That's 800-471-9807. 800-471-9807. or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Someday, someone you love will ask for help. And although Lake County Right to Life is not a crisis center, it is an educational and political organization involved in educating the public about current life issues and legislations. They take an active part in both the educational and lobbying aspects of the Right to Life movement. They formed the Lake County PAC to actively work in helping elect local Lake County candidates who are pro-life, pro-family legislators. These people support life-affirming legislation. Please help the cause. A crisis program center saves lives one at a time. Legislation saves thousands of lives. Lake County Right to Life supports women, mothers and fathers, unborn babies, families, and the elderly. Good public policy is supposed to protect the most vulnerable and does not impose on a taxpayer to pay for the lesser good, namely abortion. That takes everybody working together. For donations or information, visit lcrtl.org. That's lcrtl.org.
5:10 and a check of the roads this early morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim Talamonte, here's Al Verde.
Thanks, Mike. In Oak Lawn, we had an earlier structure fire. Now, this was in the area of 95th near Central. That fire's been struck, but crews remain on the scene there. In the meantime, on the Edens inbound at Dempster, we got an overturned vehicle. It's on the exit ramp, so look out for that. No extended travel times on the Edens. The Kennedy is wide open in both directions. Eisenhower and Stevenson look good. Dan Ryan, 15 either way from 95th to downtown. Bishopport inbound at Sibley, there's a stalled vehicle, reported stalled truck out in a lane. And inbound at Slow between 130th and before 115th. Traffic's a service of La Quinta Inns and Suites. How do business travelers win on the road? By staying at La Quinta Inns and Suites. Relax with contemporary lobby makeovers and stylish room designs. Prepare to win at business. Book now at lq.com. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Al Verde on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Mostly cloudy skies throughout the day and night. Bit of morning snow followed by a rain or snow shower in spots for the afternoon. Storm total snowfall amount an inch or two, high 40, and a low tonight 28. Clouds and sun tomorrow, high 47. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 32 and clouds at O'Hare, and we have had about an inch in spots of light snow, a dusting to an inch in other areas. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Build business with Chamber 630, one of the largest business organizations in DuPage County. Marketing your business and connecting clients is their priority. Visit chamber630.com or call 630-968-4050 to join today.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Where's my money?
Morning. How are you?
Come on. Yeah. Let's go. Make with it. Let's go.
Fine.
Top 10. Tiger, top 10. Yeah.
What do you get? 34th or 29th?
Not top 10.
Not.
Right.
Not, wait.
Even doesn't cut it.
Oh, sorry. It's 33rd. I was wrong.
Yeah.
All right, fine. So
you're a little short.
No. You said $10. I got it in a master's glass.
Is that plastic?
That's really from the Masters. Yeah, that's what beers were served in at the Masters.
No.
So you
got the pullover, and I got this.
Yeah. Well, I wanted a green jacket because my better half was there, and I said, "Bring me back a green jacket, to match my green golf shoes, and it's going to be great." And then he brings me back baby blue.
Yeah.
I don't wear baby blue. I'm not a baby blue person.
Your better half would have had to shoot 16 under to get that green jacket. So that was the problem.
Yeah.
There.
So what did you think? Patrick Reed with his American flag draped yardage book. I kept pulling it out. Got a cross. Did you see his cross on his neck?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Kind of like you with the Mr. T starter set. Let me see your crucifix.
A similar body type, too, which is the big takeaway from the Masters.
Well, he's kind of like you, but a little different because you're taller.
We got,
so keep that in mind.
We got some exclusive audio. We bugged the clubhouse in Augusta. We got some exclusive audio of Patrick Reed psyching himself up.
My name's Dewey Oxburger.
It's a Christian
My friends
name.
call me Ox. You might have noticed I've got a slight weight problem.
No.
Yeah, I do.
No.
Yeah, I do. I went to this doctor, and well, he told me I swallowed a lot of aggression, along with a lot of pizzas. Pizzas. I'm gonna walk out of here a lean, mean fighting machine.
And that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did, holding off Jordan Spieth.
And Fowler.
Ricky Fowler.
Ricky Fowler.
I guess, I mean, I always thought Ricky Fowler belonged on a skateboard, not a golf course, but he's starting to change my mind.
Oh, he's starting to rub off on you? He was fantastic.
No, he's starting to change my mind.
Okay.
Although, the only thing is, was he wearing the P hat, ironically?
It was for Puma, because he had Puma golf shoes on. That's what I thought. Somebody asked me if he was a Pittsburgh Pirates fan.
Or
the Cubs play the Pirates today. I'm like, I know. Those are different colors.
Or he's a member of Antifa.
Oh, right. Yeah, sure he is. He is Antifa.
He's wearing a P hat.
He wears more colorful clothes than members of Antifa.
I don't know if that was some kind of tribute to Ashley Judd or what. I don't know.
Oh, Patrick Reed. Yeah, this is him in the clubhouse after he put on his green jacket, started to let it sink in.
It's a dream come true, and you know, I really haven't come off cloud nine yet. To actually finally, you know, be sitting down, have my first major, be the green jacket, and to be able to sit here wearing it, it's a surreal moment for me, and it's something that I'll never forget, and it kind of makes me hungry to get back out there and try to win some more, and just go out and, you know, just enjoy the ride and enjoy the moment.
That's Freudian. He's hungry. I understand.
No, we can't fat
He was
shame
out there
him,
for a
but
long
everybody
time.
was thinking the same thing. Little John Daly out there.
I like the billowing fuchsia shirts. I thought that was very slimming. I liked it. No, I mean,
They
look.
say he normally wears red on Sundays, but for some reason he went with pink today. And his wife, by the way, looks like Lady Gaga. Oh, my gosh. And her brother was
little
his
bit.
caddy.
Yeah. Well, she used to caddy for him, yeah. So the thing, though, is what Patrick Reed proved, which is something I've always said.
What?
Exercise, eating right, taking care of yourself, that has nothing to do with golf and never should. And
Well, it's so
so
funny.
it
There's
was
so
a
many
real,
different body types out there, you know? The long, the trim, the lean, and then Patrick Reed, and then John, Emmanuel? Or no, John Rahm. John Rahm.
John Emmanuel.
Johnny-
John Rahm Emmanuel. Right. Yes.
He was angry. I wanted him so badly to break his club because if he had a bad drive, he'd take it and he'd slam it down. But if you break a club at the Masters, you don't get a new club put in your bag. You have to deal with what's in your bag.
Or any tournament.
Or any tournament. Yeah, but still, I mean, then too with his putter, he almost snapped it one time and with one of his irons. And I really wanted him to just break the club because he seems to have a bit of anger management issues that he needs to work on.
He was upset when he dumped it in the water, and
Yeah, but
there went his chances for the green jacket. Now, Patrick
Tahati.
Reed.
Yes,
Patrick Reed
Tahati.
also. I mean, you heard the pleasantries when the green jacket was presented, but again, we have exclusive audio of what he really felt. You know, about all of the ridicule that he's suffered for his.
For the.
You know, for the fact that he's
girth?
morbidly obese.
He's not morbidly
And here's what he actually said in a private moment.
Well, maybe I'm not the norm. I'm not camera friendly. I don't wear clothes that fit me. Frighten children and don't eat their own dandruff. I'm not hygienic. I don't wipe properly. I lack style. I have no charisma or self-esteem. I don't own a toothbrush or let my scabs heal. I can't reach all the parts of my body.
Right, but he's got a green jacket.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
What? Oh, he seemed to have ice in his veins. He didn't really
He's a
show a lot of
bulldog.
emotion.
Bulldog, but he got a little bit of a spotty college career. I mean,
Really?
not to rain on his parade.
Well, it's Augusta
snow.
College, so that's his. I mean,
Yeah, they're right, but
It was,
he
of
got,
course,
he
he
got
aspired to play
dismissed
on.
from the team.
Oh, he did?
Allegations of cheating and stealing. And
Well, what did he take? A pink shirt?
Scotty Cameron putter and $400, which he denies, to be fair to him.
Oh, really? How much? I have a Scotty Cameron putter that I don't use. Should I be using that?
No, you should give it to somebody who plays golf.
I play golf. No, is that an expensive club? Well, we'll talk in the break. Forecast for today. As you can see, winter once again in spring. If you're downtown, there's anywhere from 1 inch to 2 inches. In the suburbs, not so bad. But we're going to have a little more rain, snow mix this morning. Then by the time the Cub game happens, it will be around 41 degrees at Wrigley Field. But factor in the wind chill, it'll be about 32. Hopefully, they might postpone the game, according to Keith Conrad. Tonight, a low of 28. And tomorrow, things do warm up. We're going to have times of clouds and sun, a high of 47 degrees. Now let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. A very special Monday.
Wow.
Al Verde is in for Jim Telemonte. Good morning, Al.
Good morning, Amy. Hey, Dan. All right, on the Edens, we don't have any big delays, but we do have a rollover on the exit ramp to eastbound Dempster, again, from the inbound Edens. On the Kennedy, it's wide open right now, 20 either way from O'Hare to downtown. Eisenhower's moving well in both directions. The Stevenson in or out, 34 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan is 15 up or down from 95th to downtown. 57 looks good on the Bishop Ford inbound from 130th to before 115th. It's backed up. There's a car in the ditch, and also the right lane is blocked with emergency equipment to get that out of there. Lakeshore Drive is moving well. No delays on 390. Tri-State's still in good shape. Same for the Reagan Veterans Memorial, Route 53, and all the Indiana tolls look good. I'm Al Verde in the Alarm Detection System Traffic Center.
Okay, from the start.
Acerola cherry.
Alfalfa leaf, aloe vera, apples, asparagus, banana.
Beets, bell pepper, broccoli. Blueberries, blackberries, cranberry.
I make my Texas superfood from 55 raw, vine-ripened fruits and vegetables.
Mangosteen.
Pineapple, sweet potato.
Papaya, parsley, peach.
You can see all 55 on TexasSuperfood.com.
Raspberry, spinach, all of the nutrients that we need on a daily basis.
You know, it's been barely a week, and already my skin is better.
I lost 60 pounds. I mean, that's huge.
Since I've been on Superfood, I haven't been sick.
I'm Dennis Black here in Dallas, Texas. Wouldn't you rather be healthy, energetic, and fit?
It's borderline shocking how much energy I have.
Join us on TexasSuperfood.com.
TexasSuperfood.com.
Or call 877-55-TEXAS. That's 877-55-TEXAS. 877-55-TEXAS. Or
TexasSuperfood.com.
There's a place where you can get custom metal products. If you manage a commercial kitchen, hotel, condo building, or food-grade manufacturing plant, then no matter the type of metal or size of the project, the skillfully trained fabrication team at Vans Industrial has you covered.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Custom metal fabrication is the backbone of my company. We fabricate stainless steel countertops, wall coverings, hoods, landscape planter boxes, industrial fan housings, and more. Vans Industrial uses all types of alloys like carbon steel, aluminum, brass, and polished stainless steel. And we have a laser cutting machine. Our laser can customize almost any project. Our team can design, fabricate, and install your project today.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free inspection of your facility. That's 833-VANS-IND. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS Industrial.com. Vans Industrial, customizing for you, the customer.
Dan Proft here, and you're invited to join me at the Judson University World Leaders Forum on April 19th. This year, the forum features former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich and former Governor of Vermont Howard Dean. The topic of this year's forum, a bipartisan conversation about leadership in divided times. The World Leaders Forum features two events, a community event held at Judson University in Elgin at 2 p.m. on April 19th, to hear from both Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean before a Q&A session. Then at 5 p.m. that evening, the World Leaders Forum continues at the Hilton Chicago Hotel at a signature VIP reception featuring a photo opportunity with both Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean. A portion of the ticket is tax deductible, with proceeds funding the Judson Leadership Scholarships, innovative entrepreneurial activities, and sustaining the World Leaders Forum. I'm excited to be moderating this year's event, so join me at the Judson University World Leaders Forum with Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean. Get your tickets today at judsonu.edu/WLF. That's judsonu.edu/WLF.
Blue Star medicated ointment gets 5-star reviews from our loyal users for fast relief of the pain and itch of almost any skin irritation.
Blue Star soothes insect bites and fungal infections.
It really works on the summer rashes I get every year.
I had psoriasis on my elbows. Blue Star worked wonders.
Amazing stuff. Smear a bit on and the itch is gone.
Look for the white box with the Blue Star in the first aid section. Feel Blue Star work fast, or your money back.
I threw up this morning. The nausea from gastroparesis can be overwhelming. Have you been diagnosed with gastroparesis? If so, you might qualify for a clinical study for a new medication for nausea and the symptoms of gastroparesis. Qualified participants will receive study-related care and medication at no charge. Call 844-902-1212. That's 844-902-1212. This ad sponsored by Vanda Pharmaceuticals.
Building owners and managers. Now is the perfect time of year for a service and maintenance agreement with Waukegan Roofing. Since 1914, Waukegan Roofing has been installing and maintaining roofs you can rely on for all of Chicagoland. Our experienced team of professional service technicians is the right solution for preserving the integrity of your new or existing roofing system for years to come. With your dedicated service technician and our multi-point inspection program, we cover all areas of your roof from early detection to preventative maintenance to repairs and everything in between. We're the licensed commercial roofing contractor you can rely on for all your roofing needs. Building owners and managers, now is the time to prepare your low-slope commercial roof for everything that Mother Nature throws at it this year. Call Waukegan Roofing today for your service and maintenance appointment at 877-ROOF-201. That's 877-ROOF-201. Or visit us online at waukeganroofing.com. Waukegan Roofing, installing roofs you can rely on since 1914.
Illinois licensee 104000761.
AM 560, The Answer.
You be nice.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Amy, when I look for peer-reviewed sociological research on women, you know where I go?
Wow. When you do who to the what?
Champneys Health Spa.
What are you doing? Research on what?
On women. Peer-reviewed sociological research on women.
All right. Is that what you do for fun on a Friday?
Well.
Or maybe on a Saturday?
Pass the time. Since I don't, have much of a social.
Oh, yeah.
So,
you can borrow my kids if you ever get lonely.
No, that's all right. And so here's what they found.
What did they find?
Champneys.
Am I going to learn
Health
something
Spa.
about myself?
You may. I don't know. You may validate this. They surveyed 1,517 women from England.
Mm-hmm.
And they found this, that while getting married is often pegged as one of the happiest days of a person's life. Was that your experience? As you...
Which time?
Hey,
which wife?
As you have
I've got
finally
5 kids with 3 men.
Found the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. It turns out women would rather spend time with their best friends than their husband.
I mean, I could see that. But what if your best friend is your husband?
He's my best friend. She's my best friend.
He's my soulmate.
I want to thank my wife. She's my best friend. All right, get off the stage. Simp. Pathetic.
No, I believe that because sometimes, we want to get away from you people.
Full list of reasons. 50,
oh, yeah, why?
57%.
Why do I want to get away from you?
57% said we can talk about everything.
Yeah.
Meaning, you and your best friend as opposed to your husband. Yeah. She listens more.
That is a total yes.
I'm sorry, you said something. I can tell her things I could not tell my partner.
Oh, that's kind of bad. But all right.
We enjoy the same things. We laugh till we cry.
Oh.
She becomes a part of me. Blah, 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 blah.
I don't have that kind of friend.
Here's a little insight. If Champneys Health Spa did the same survey of men, guess what they'd find?
The same thing.
Except have bigger percentages. That'd be the only difference. It would border on unanimity.
Really?
I suspect.
Do men like to hang out with men rather than their wives?
Coming up at 5:38. We're going to.
What do we have, champ? What do we got?
we're gonna pick up Larry Kudlow's latest pronouncements on that forthcoming trade war ?
And later, how should President Trump respond to an alleged chemical attack in Syria But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, well, there has been a response, likely not from the United States. Syria and Russia blame Israel for attacking a Syrian airbase early today. Russian military sources and Syrian state television say 2 Israeli F-15 fighter jets attacked the airbase near Homs, about 100 miles north of the capital. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg will be in Washington, D.C. today. That ahead of 2 days of congressional hearings over his company's data sharing and privacy controversy. Reuters is reporting that Zuckerberg will meet with lawmakers ahead of the days of meetings. Those meetings do include members of congressional committees that he will be testifying before. EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt and other members of the president's cabinet should stop acting like chuckleheads, stop the unforced errors, stop leading with their chin.
Ethics matter. Impropriety matters. The appearance of impropriety matters.
Good advice, according to Senator John Kennedy on CBS's Face the Nation. Louisiana Republican saying all of this behavior he's seeing in Washington is juvenile and distracting from the business of what they're trying to get done. Comedic actor Chuck McCann is dead. You know who he is. You just probably have never seen his face. McCann died of congestive heart failure Sunday at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in L.A. He was 83. The popular children's television host also starred as the voice of the cuckoo bird for General Mills cereal commercials for Cocoa Puffs. Cubs home opener at Wrigley this afternoon with the first of 3 against the Pirates. The investigation is underway after a man was found dead on Chicago's northwest side near Berry and Knox. One man in serious condition following a fire on Chicago's far south side. The blaze beginning early this morning in an apartment building near 110th and Vernon. Authorities continue their investigation after a Bradley University student from Chicago was killed in an off-campus shooting in Peoria.
Nothing's going to hold her back. She's going to keep going and surpass all of us, do things that we weren't able to do. And, unfortunately, it's cut short. That's
her cousin, April Hill. Najee Murray was a freshman biomedical science pre-med major, a graduate of King College Prep on the south side. The stomach bug that sickened almost 2 dozen at the state's veterans home in Quincy, according to the state, is now contained. The Illinois Department of Public Health on Friday announced the norovirus outbreak at that home should be quieted over the weekend. 20 people were sickened by the bug. And hats off to the Pittsburgh Pirates, where an usher is redefining workplace dedication. 99-year-old Phil Coyne, who has worked for the team since 1936, will retire. Coyne assisted fans at Forbes Field, then Three Rivers Stadium, and then PNC Park. Coyne's only sabbatical was when he served in the military during World War II. Pirates will throw a massive party and bash for the World War II vet on April 27th, Coyne's 100th birthday. Cubs blanked the Brewers at Miller Park 3-0. White Sox were held to 3 hits and a 1-0 loss to the Tigers. Blackhawks season came to a close with a 4-1 loss to the Jets. Patrick Reed is champion of the 2018 Masters Tournament in Augusta. The news, a service of TheraWorks Relief. To prevent muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. It's a fast-acting foam, clinically proven to relieve leg, foot, and other cramps. Get TheraWorks Relief today at select Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid pharmacies or TheraWorksRelief.com. Ask your pharmacist for TheraWorks Relief. 5:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher isn't going to get pushed around.
There's so much ugliness out there, and I admit I kind of contributed to it yesterday. Now, you know me. Somebody calls me and acts like a jerk to me, like a few of you did yesterday. I'm not going to just roll over because I didn't like the way the tone went with some of our callers.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Stop by a Subway restaurant for the new Double Meat Signature Wraps for just $6.99 each. Prices may vary. Additional charge for extras plus applicable tax. Double meat based on average 6-inch sub.
Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy, Ryan Kelly, at thehomeloanexpert.com. Ryan, one of the things I like about you, you're a hustler, you're a go-getter. Is it really true that you and your team will drive anywhere in Chicagoland so that your clients don't have to sit in the notorious Chicagoland traffic?
Oh, you better believe it. A mortgage is just too big of an investment, too big of a product to be done on an app or maybe through email only. And I feel that it's very important to at least get together with our clients for the application process. Meaning, if you're looking to refinance or buy a home, give us a call, 773-770-4727. That's 770-4727. Or you can always apply online at thehomeloanexpert.com. We'll gather some information. I will work you up your options, call you back. We'll review your options, compare where you are, and compare the new loan. If you say, hey, this is a great fit in what it's looking for, I'll come out and I'll meet you at your home or office. No one does that. Customer service, no one can match. Thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee.
5:35. Let's get an update on the roads this early morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Al.
Thanks, Mike. On the Edens, inbound at Dempster, an earlier accident that was blocking the eastbound exit ramp, that's cleared. It's only 19 either way from Lake Hook to the Kennedy Junction. Kennedy is still good both ways, 20 in or out from downtown to O'Hare. Same thing for the Eisenhower. That's still wide open. On the Stevenson inbound, we've got our first little slowdown from First Avenue to Harlem. Still only 35 in from 355, 25 in from the Tri-State. Outbound is fine. Dan Ryan inbound from 95th to 71st, a little bit slow. Then again from 18th to the Burn Interchange, 17 in from 95th to downtown. Traffic's a service of La Quinta Inns and Suites. How do business travelers win on the road? By staying at La Quinta Inns and Suites. Relax with contemporary lobby makeovers and stylish room designs. Prepare to win at business. Book now at lq.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Cloudy day ahead, cold. Well, that snow's not stopping everybody in Wrigleyville this morning. It's coming down hard. Some rain later in the day as well. High near 40. Cloudy and cold, 28. Tonight. Currently 32. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. You want to do a little...
Yeah.
That's the worst Robert Plant I've ever heard.
Wow, that sounds like a sick cat.
Yeah.
I don't know the words. Hey, what jacket are you wearing, by the way?
Hillsdale College.
Oh, the Chargers?
Yeah. When I go back to school, Rodney Dangerfield style, I want to be properly attired.
Well, did you have any parties in your dorm room when you were there?
No, I did not. No, thank you for asking.
Go jumping off the high dive in the swimming pool?
Larry Kudlow making the rounds on the Sunday talkies to front Trump's negotiations, saber-rattling on tariffs with the Chinese, and they're saber-rattling right back. Kudlow again making the point that, generally speaking, that this is the idea of introducing the prospect of tariffs, because that's where we're still at, the prospect of tariffs phase, is one arrow in the quiver of a president, and China's the problem. China's the trade cheat. China's the one stonewalling. And so, don't put this on Trump. This has been going on for a long time. Previous administrations have failed to do anything material about it, and Trump is trying a different approach to get a different result.
But it is false to say, as the president tweeted this morning, quote, the U.S. is losing $500 billion a year. As you know, the number is actually $375 billion.
That's not the right. But he also said, did Kudlow, that Trump is not bluffing on this. So is this just all a big bluff and he's not going to do anything? No, he's not bluffing. And among others, Gordon Chang, who is most known for writing the book, The Coming Collapse of China. He was on with Maria Bartiromo over the weekend, and he said Trump's doing the right thing here.
Oh, it's absolutely true. You got to remember that what China's doing, especially for the last 6 or 7 years, especially under Xi Jinping, the current ruler, is become especially pernicious. They've been closing off their markets, attacking foreign companies, also attacking domestic private companies. So, this is really Xi Jinping's emphasis on state enterprises, and this is completely unsustainable. As the president said on Friday, if he could ignore it, but he wouldn't be doing his job. So he's doing absolutely the right thing.
And Chang went on to describe, the politics around this. This is not strictly, you're looking at this through an economic lens, what's in the economic best interests of each country from their perspective. There's a politics at play here as President Xi in China has consolidated power.
Well, I think the trade war has gone on for a very long time, for decades, but certainly it's the beginning of a tit-for-tat phase of that trade war, and we're going to probably see more of it. If this were just a matter of economics, there'd be no trade friction. The Chinese know that they would be overwhelmed by the United States. But this is not just a matter of economics. It's a matter of Chinese politics. Xi Jinping, the Chinese ruler, has accumulated absolute power or close to absolute power. That means he becomes responsible for everything. If you have a problem in a trade with the United States, he knows that he's got to intimidate us. So he's going to use all of his power and authority to go after us. So this could get ugly.
And that's the phase we're in now, according to Chang. Now, Trump detractors, on-again, off-again detractors like Holman Jenkins, on-again and on-again detractors like Fareed Zakaria, all giving Trump some fairly wide berth here. Holman Jenkins writing over the weekend in the Wall Street Journal, Trump's trade tactic might work. Donald Trump's rhetoric often fails to notice that trade is a win-win, but the peanut gallery should not lose sight of the same basic context in today's trade fight. Both sides are putting guns to their own heads and saying, give me what I want or the idiot gets it. Very much Blazing Saddles style. However, such incentives strongly favor the parties reaching a deal and declaring victory for the benefit of the home fans. Both the U.S.-China trade relationship, both know the U.S.-China trade relationship is too important not to put it on a sounder basis. And he goes on, as Jenkins, to say, Trump is not a bridge burner. Whatever you think of his Twitter habits, he's always ready to be best friends tomorrow with whomever he's at war with today. And he's not the idiot his detractors say. Nobody says the Chinese are idiots. The omens are propitious for a major advance in trade relations. So Jenkins, very much like Kudlow, saying this is a growth play, effectively, and this is a tactic that might work. It's a tactic, frankly, that previous administrations haven't tried.
Well, the tariffs have not gone into effect yet, and so that's, everybody was trying to get the farmers' perspective. Martha Raddatz was out there in Iowa and Nebraska. But they're trying to engage in back channels with the Chinese to try and resolve their differences. So nothing has taken place yet, but you have to keep in mind that 2/3 of United States soybean exports go to China. So that's why it's the unknown that is concerning them.
Yeah, soybeans, planes, and cars. Those are the three big exports. But going back to Jenkins, if China buys Brazilian soybeans, the world doesn't end. Brazil's customers will buy U.S. soybeans. The net effect would be only slightly damaging to all concerned, except for rail and shipping companies. So, and the Trump administration basically said, look, some of this approach, this kind of straightaway approach on China to get them to stop their, not just unfair, illicit practices, will maybe involve some short-term pain. The only thing I really didn't like that I heard over the weekend was Peter Navarro, who I normally don't like when he's making pronouncements in this space, talking about buying U.S. soybeans. The federal government will come in and prop up U.S. soybean prices by buying what the Chinese aren't if this continues. No, that's not an appropriate idea in my estimation, and general tariffs are not an appropriate idea. But if it's this kind of textured approach that Kudlow has outlined, and it's been convincing enough to make Holman Jenkins into an optimist, which is no easy chore, then I'm willing to give the president some latitude as well. And frankly, it's interesting. I don't know what to make of this. When Fareed Zakaria is rallying to the president's defense, I don't know if that's good news or bad news, but at least he's got the foundational facts right so we can have a discussion on the basis of the same set of facts, which is not something we can often do these days.
Donald Trump is right. China is a trade cheat. but the U.S. Trade Representative's report to Congress on China's compliance with global trading rules is an exception worth reading. In measured prose and great detail, it lays out the many ways that China has failed to enact promised economic reforms, backtracked on others, and used formal and informal means to block foreign firms from competing in China's market, all of which directly contradicts Beijing's commitments when it joined the World Trade Organization in 2001. Getting tough on China is a case where I'm willing to give Trump's unconventional methods a try. Nothing else has really worked.
And President Trump tweeted about a few minutes ago, when a car is sent to the United States from China, there's a tariff to be paid of 2.5%. When a car is sent to China from the United States, there's a tariff to be paid of 25%. Does that sound like free or fair trade? No, it sounds like stupid trade, all in capital letters. That's been going on for years.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. There's no doubt that China is a mercantilist country, and the communists there are intent on trying to protect that as best they can. And so it requires perhaps a frontal assault to get them to back down because, of course, as many have observed, including Gordon Chang, China would be the worse off. Both sides would be worse off. China would be much worse off if this trade war really escalated. So there's that piece of this. And then the flip side is a lot of this tough talk, the suggestion that Trump isn't bluffing by Larry Kudlow, and then the concern that you, at the end of the day, just kind of do a press release, both sides declare victory, and not much changes. That's the concern Rich Lowry has, writing in National Review over the weekend, that Trump deserves credit for realizing the approach of the past didn't work, but forging something better is easier said than done, and he's worried that China can be the China trade issue can be a little bit like the North Korean nuke crisis, saber-rattling, ends in negotiation without a great result. So you avoid full-blown hostilities, but you don't really move the needle in terms of improving the dynamic between the two countries. And that's a concern, too. If you're going to take this shot and suffer some at least short-term pain in certain sectors, then you want to come away with it, as Larry Kudlow presented the best-case scenario, where trade barriers are reduced on both sides, spurring greater trade, and that's but more compliance by the Chinese.
President Trump did tweet less than 24 hours ago saying, President Xi and I will always be friends no matter what happens with our dispute on trade. China will take down its trade barriers because it is the right thing to do. Taxes will become reciprocal, and a deal will be made on intellectual property. Great future for both countries! Exclamation point. Is he being too optimistic?
No, I don't think he's being too optimistic. I think he's just being optimistic, and he's sending a signal to the Chinese, as Jenkins mentioned in his piece, that he's a negotiator. He's willing to negotiate. So is President Xi, but we got to get to a better place than we are now, one that includes more compliance. And by the way, part of this is like predicated on the idea: do you have any faith, or should we put too much trust in these global governing bodies like the WTO any more than we should the UN? And I think the answer to that generally is no, but at least there is some standard setting there that would exist without the WTO when it comes to trade practices. And so China's got to give a little bit on compliance, equalize some of those barriers to entry that you mentioned, like the 12-to-1 disparity on taxes on cars. And then it's going to encourage both sides to trade more and be better off, lower the barriers. That's better for both countries, but it may not be politically better for the Chinese, and this is where politics pollutes the economics. Tony on the South Side, the man who coined the term
Tangerine Jesus. Yes, sir. Hey, how you kids doing?
Good.
Listen, you know what? I was giving some thought to the soybean farmers. Okay, just like any other business, right? You don't put all your eggs in one basket. Okay, so in other words, I'm not gonna just run one numbers. I mean, I'm not gonna run one thing that makes me money. I'm gonna do other things, right? So
you can't just change your crop like that. I mean,
well, no, I'm not saying change your crop. I'm saying finding other ways to to sell your product. Do something with it, and
put up more windmills.
I hope that they don't have all their eggs in a giant basket. If they do, then they're stupid. They shouldn't even be in. They shouldn't be being farmers or doing any kind of business. Have more other places you can sell your product, or don't diversify. In other words, you always say when you make investments, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So That's all I got to say. You know.
Thanks, Tony.
All right.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
So would they make soy burgers if the federal government took over the soybean crop? Yeah.
Uncle Sam's
It's meat.
soy burger and fries joint.
Oh, we grew up on those at school. A hot pack and a cold pack. Today, mostly cloudy, cold. As you can see, there's snow on the ground, depending on where you live. There's seems to be more snow downtown than out here in the suburbs. And we can't rule out rain or snow shower throughout the day on and off. A high of 40 degrees for your Chicago Cubs home opener. It's great. And tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 28. And then things are finally going to start heating up, although it'll be gradual.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Tomorrow, it'll be 47 degrees. And then by Wednesday, 60. By Thursday, we might have 70 degrees. So get your tea times ready. Now let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, a very special Dan and Amy show. It's always good when Al Verde is here. Good morning, Al.
Good morning, Amy. Hi, Dan. All right, Edens is fine. On inbound Dempster, that earlier crash on the exit ramp, that's been cleared. No delays there. Kennedy inbound so far just taps the brakes between Cumberland and Foster, not really adding to travel times. Outbound Foster to Nagel, a little bit of a backup. Eisenhower in slows Mannheim to Harlem, still only 33 in from 390 to the Byrne interchange. Stevenson in is tight from 1st Avenue to Kedzie. Dan Ryan in from 95th to the Skyway, a little delay. Then again from the Stevenson into the Byrne. And Bishop Ford inbound, that's heavy from 130th to before the Ryan because of an earlier accident. Lakeshore Drive, we have no delays to speak of. Tri-State looks good both directions. Same for the Adams, Reagan Memorial, Veterans Memorial. 53 and 80 are moving right along, and same for all the Indiana tolls. I'm Al Verde in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Do you want your basement to be dry most of the time? If so, Permaseal is not the company for you. At Permaseal, we believe your basement should be dry all the time, no matter how hard it rains. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. I hear story after story of homeowners who say their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't worry about your living room or bedroom getting wet when it rains, and you should feel the same way about your basement. Just call 800-421-SEAL. We offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all the time, you know who to call. 800-421-SEAL. Permaseal has earned an A+ rating from the BBB and has received their 2016 Torch Award for Marketplace Ethics. That's 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
This is Dan Prost with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. When are you all going to start standing up for the majority? And here's who the majority is. I'm the majority. We're the first ones taxed and the last ones considered, and the first ones punished when something like this happens because our rights are the ones being taken away. That was part of a beautifully delivered commentary by law-abiding everyman Mark Robinson at a Greensboro, North Carolina City Council meeting. Robinson's I am Spartacus moment was in response to a debate over whether to cancel a local gun show in the wake of the Parkland school shooting. We demonize the police and we make the criminals into victims, and we're talking about restricting guns? Robinson continued. I want to live in Mr. Robinson's neighborhood. He laid out the bill of particulars for the people who play by the rules only to get fleeced by the political ruling class they finance and ridiculed in the process. Most importantly, Mark Robinson reminded us that this grand experiment in representative Republican government rises or falls based on the civic engagement of the Mark Robinsons in America. It's not enough to applaud Mark Robinson. We must emulate him. I am Mark Robinson.
Building owners and managers. When it comes to maintaining the value of your commercial, industrial, or institutional building, there will be roof repairs or replacements for you to deal with. When you're looking for a good roofing contractor, search the ChicagoRoofing.org website for Chicagoland's best roofing contractors for repairs, replacements, or new construction. And you can check out their innovative roofing work also. All contractors at ChicagoRoofing.org proudly employ members of Roofers Union Local 11 who have undergone 5 years of rigorous training at the country's leading school for roofing, the Chicagoland Roofers Joint Apprenticeship Training Center. ChicagoRoofing.org contractors are at the top of their game and provide Chicagoland's best value for the best roofs all year long. Building owners and managers, you will have roof repairs or replacements to deal with. It's inevitable. Go to ChicagoRoofing.org. That's chicago-roofing.org.
As a parent, you want what's best for your children. That means sending them to a school where they'll get the superior education they deserve, and that also shares your values. That can be tricky these days, as public schools have changed and private schools can be expensive. Your household budget has already been cut to the bone, and it's hard to imagine where you'll find that extra money. Well, there's help to lessen that financial burden and provide your child with the very best education at half the cost. At AM 560 The Answer, we work with private schools throughout the Chicagoland area to provide tuition for families at half the normal cost. Just log on to halfpriceschools.com and you'll find some of Chicagoland's finest private schools, from preschool all the way through high school, at half the cost. And chances are there's a school right in your neighborhood. Invest in your child's education and future at halfpriceschools.com. A limited number of half-price vouchers are available. Go to halfpriceschools.com now.
If you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, your dental health. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You hear a lot of people screaming at you about dental implants. Get it done in a day, or we can treat everybody, or hundreds of thousands of implants. Look, successful implants don't come from an implant factory. What you don't hear talked about is skill, treatment, and installation. These are what make for successful lifelong implants. And that's why you need to see Dr. Norouzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Norouzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants. You need the experience, skill, and honesty that 24 years of dental implants brings.
This is Dr. Norouzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics, 630-232-7400, 630-232-7400, or just remember, implantsforme.com, implantsforme.com.
The mainstream media is nothing more than an American Pravda. You know it, I know it, and so does James O'Keefe, one of the bravest and most dangerous journalists working today. Don't miss a special event sponsored by the Heartland Institute to hear and meet the fearless James O'Keefe in his only Chicago area appearance. O'Keefe worked with the legendary Andrew Breitbart to blow the lid off the Acorn scandal. His undercover video stings exposed the shady practices of Planned Parenthood and NPR. He exposed widespread voter fraud and other corrupt practices among Democrat political operatives. O'Keefe's Project Veritas even caught CNN admitting the Russian investigation is a big nothing burger. O'Keefe's new book is American Pravda, My Fight for Truth in the Era of Fake News. It exposes the utter corruption of our so-called mainstream media. You need to attend this event on April 18th at the Cotillion in Palatine to hear James O'Keefe for yourself. Visit heartland.org for tickets. That's James O'Keefe, April 18th in Palatine. Go to heartland.org to reserve your seats. Do it now.
5:57. Let's get an update on the morning roads. What is that white stuff in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center? Al Verdi and for Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. So far, a little bit of snowfall. It's not causing too big of delays, but some. Edens is still good both directions. Kennedy in, that's 26 now from O'Hare to downtown. Slows from the Tri-State to about Foster. And outbound from Foster to Nagel, a bit of a backup. 28 out to the airport. Eisenhower in 36 from 390 to the post office. Outbound, no delays. Stevenson 37 in 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound still in good shape. Dan Ryan 20 into downtown and no delays down to 95th. Bishop Ford inbound is heavy, 130th to before the Ryan. That's because of an earlier accident. Traffic's a service of La Quinta Inns and Suites. How do business travelers win on the road? By staying at La Quinta Inns and Suites. Relax with contemporary lobby makeovers and stylish room designs. Prepare to win at business. Book now at lq.com. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly cloudy. Bit of snow for the morning, followed by a rain or snow shower in spots in the afternoon. Storm total snowfall about an inch or two, high 40. Tonight, mostly cloudy and cold low 28. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
32 in clouds at O'Hare. The news, a service of TheraWorks Relief to prevent muscle cramps in your legs and feet. Use TheraWorks Relief. It's a fast-acting foam clinically proven to relieve leg and foot cramps. Get TheraWorks Relief today at select Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid pharmacies or TheraWorksRelief.com. Ask your pharmacist for TheraWorks Relief. 5:59. Here are the stories we're following on AM 560. The Answer. The Cubs home opener at Wrigley Field this afternoon in jeopardy. First of 3 against the Pirates is scheduled. An investigation underway after a man was found dead on Chicago's northwest side. The victim's body discovered yesterday morning in an alley near Berry and Knox. Authorities in Peoria investigating the death of a Bradley University student from Chicago killed in an off-campus shooting in that central Illinois city. Jose Quintana and 3 relievers combined on a 3-hit shutout. Cubs blanked the Brewers 3-0 at Miller Park. White Sox blanked by the Tigers 1-0. More Dan and Amy after Fox, WIND, Chicago News Time. It's 6 o'clock.
Will the U.S. bomb Syria like last year? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I wouldn't take anything off the table. These are horrible photos. We're looking into the attack at this point.
Homeland Security Advisor Tom Bossert on ABC after President Trump tweeted there will be a big price to pay for a reported chemical weapons attack over the weekend that killed at least 40 people. And he's holding Iran and Russia responsible for backing Syria. There were missile strikes today, perhaps in retaliation. Fox's Simon Owen monitoring live from London.
Dave, Syria and Russia saying Israel struck an airbase in central Syria before dawn. 3 missiles landing, and according to war monitors, 14 people were killed. The Israeli government hasn't commented. Syria's president is rejecting the allegations his forces used chemical weapons on civilians. His main backer, Russia, also dismissing the reports. The Russian foreign minister saying it's a provocation. Dave.
Simon, the UN Security Council hold an emergency meeting, and President Trump will gather with military leaders tonight on that issue as National Guard troops also keep amassing near the U.S. border with Mexico in a battle against illegal immigration. Fox's Evan Brown live in McAllen, Texas.
Yeah, Dave, a handful of Texas National Guard troops have arrived in each border patrol sector along the Rio Grande. More are coming, but what exactly these troops will do is still unknown. Texas Guard Lieutenant Colonel Travis Walters.
We have people working around the clock currently planning for a larger force to move into the area once our federal partners determine what they need exactly from us.
But local leaders here say a militarized border town is not the image they want. They feel it tells a false story of lawlessness, Dave.
Evan, for those on Facebook, check your news feed. The social media giant will send notices to users showing what apps they use and what information has been shared, and millions will find out if their info was caught up in the scandal of a company using the data for political purposes. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
The news moves full speed every day. It can be hard to keep up with what's happening, what it means, and why it's important. That's why we're here at AM 560. We'll keep you up to date all day with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson in the morning.
First thing you do, don't flee a police officer.
That's what they think happened.
Followed by Mike Gallagher and Dennis Prager. In the afternoon, it's Sean Hannity.
There is now an intoxicating drug. It's called Trump hate.
And Joe Walsh with your drive home.
God, they don't understand what the NRA is.
This is AM 560. The Answer.
Buying a new tractor? You owe it to yourself to visit your LS Tractor dealer. LS Tractors give you a lot more tractor for less money compared to other brands. For starters, LS Tractor comes with more select features as standard equipment. They make operating your tractor easier with better performance to get more work done quicker. Compare and you'll know who gives you more tractor for your money. LS Tractor. Excel in your field. Learn more at lstractorusa.com.
Visit Abbey Equipment in Streeter and get more tractor.
Are we ready to open next month?
I think so.
You think so?
Well, it's complicated. Fire protection, first aid supplies, uniforms, safety training, mat services, oh, and restroom supplies.
So uncomplicated. Call Cintas. They'll handle all of it.
Wow, one company can handle all that? That's not very complicated.
So, you'll be ready?
Oh, we'll be ready.
Oh, I'm ready! Learn how Cintas can help you get ready for the workday. Visit Cintas.com.
For years, you've heard of St. John's Northwestern Military Academy, serving young men with an outstanding education and preparation for life. Now that same experience is available for your daughter. With summer vacation right around the corner, now is a great time to register your son or daughter for summer camp at St. John's Northwestern Military Academy in the beautiful region of southwest Wisconsin. It's a time to refocus from the distractions of life and explore the potentials in many areas of life. There's Camp St. John's Northwestern with 4 one-week sessions of outdoor activities for 10 to 16-year-olds. and summer school for 5 weeks to recover credits or get ahead for full credit. Limited registration for co-ed summer camp is happening now, as well as the year-round school application process. Hurry, space is limited. For more information, call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET, or visit their website, sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a SelectQuote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-471-9807. That's 800-471-9807. 800-471-9807. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k rollover specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So over the weekend, another apparent chemical attack, this at the hands of the brutal dictator of Syria, Bashar al-Assad, killed at least 42, sickened hundreds more.
Yeah, they're denying any responsibility for it.
Yeah, just like they denied any responsibility for the barrel bombs. The president, President Trump, who, despite apparently being Moscow's man in D.C., denounced the Iranians and the Russians as equally culpable.
Yeah, calling out Putin really essentially for the very first time, which he did
via
Twitter.
For the very first time.
Calling out Putin.
What do you mean for the very first time?
Well, when it comes to actions in Syria. I mean,
yeah, okay.
Assad, of course, denies the involvement. And Senator Lindsey Graham thinks that this is an ample time for President Trump to flex his muscles and do something.
Well, it's a defining moment in his presidency because he has challenged Assad in the past not to use chemical weapons. We had a one-and-done a missile attack, so Assad's at it again. They see our resolve breaking. They see our determination to stay in Syria waning, and it's no accident they use chemical weapons. If he doesn't follow through and live up to that tweet, he's going to look weak in the eyes of Russia and Iran. So this is a defining moment, Mr. President. You need to follow through that tweet, show a resolve that Obama never did to get this right.
And President Trump tweeted, if President Obama had crossed his stated red line in the sand, the Syrian disaster would have ended long ago. Animal Assad would have been history. So what do you think he should do? 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. Because, John Bolton, it's his first day on the job today, too. So I wonder what he's going to advise President Trump on.
Tom Bossert was on. But first of all, let's remember Lindsey Graham is the invade the world, invite the world neocon. So the idea that this is a defining moment in Trump's presidency, actually, I don't really think so. But Tom Bossert, one of Trump's national security advisors, was on with Raddatz on This Week saying this.
This is one of those issues on which every nation, all peoples have all agreed and have agreed since World War II is an unacceptable practice. So
is it possible there will be another missile attack?
I wouldn't take anything off the table. These are horrible photos. We're looking into the attack at this point. The State Department put out a statement last night, and the President's senior national security cabinet have been talking with him and with each other all throughout the evening and this morning, and myself included.
Even though the President this week said, we'll leave this to others, we should get out of there.
Well, I think the President's got a point that's been very clear, and I'm going to reiterate that point. The pendulum has swung in the wrong direction for too long, and the United States of America has been taken advantage of in their responsibility to provide security for the entire world. It is time to move that pendulum back in a way that brings regional partners and others with equities in these matters all around the globe into putting their resources and their treasure and their boys and girls on the line, and not just American troops. American troops aren't going to fix the 6 or 7 different ongoing conflicts and wars going on in the Middle East or in Syria at this stage. We need regional partnership increased, and we need U.S. presence increased.
Yeah, maybe another missile strike, as was done previously. But other than that, you want boots on the ground in Syria? You think American troops on the ground is going to suss this out? Here's the other problem in Syria is we talked about a lot during the height of the civil war, before the displacement of millions, is sort of difficult to identify the good guys from the bad guys there. Turns out to be a real problem. You depose Assad and you get what in return? Not that I don't think Assad should be deposed, but the idea that what spring we can have another Arab Spring conversation about what follows a brutal dictator in a country ravaged by sectarian strife. There's and that's not to say they're not good guys. If you've seen the documentary Last Men in Aleppo, which if you haven't, you should. It's very good. And I think it won Best Foreign Documentary Oscar. But, the White Helmets, the people that in Syria, in Aleppo, responding when a barrel bomb knocks down a building and digging people out of the rubble and saving people. So there are good people there, some that are trapped. There are good people who've left. Trying to distinguish one from the other is no easy feat.
What's the film called again?
The Last Men in Aleppo.
Okay.
And so, I just think this is more complicated than neocons or, say, a Madeleine Albright wants to make it. Madeleine Albright, this is just sick. This op-ed that she's got in the New York Times over the weekend.
Yeah.
Did you see this? Can we stop Trump in time? Fascism poses a more serious threat now than any time since the end of World War II.
Oh, my God.
And in her piece, she's implicitly suggesting that it poses a threat in this country because of Trump.
Oh, boy.
And, if only she was so concerned about, say, stopping genocide in Rwanda in time when she was Secretary of State, as opposed to stopping Trump in time when she's an on-again, off-again op-ed contributor to the New York Times. She just goes through chapter and verse around the world with, like, Council of Foreign Relations talking points. It's pathetic. She's a moron. Or she's completely unserious. You decide. I'm really not that interested. But since this is somebody whose remarks will be passed around, she somehow has become this elder stateswoman for reasons that evade me. If freedom is to prevail over the many challenges to it, American leadership is urgently required. This was among the indelible lessons of the 20th century. But by what he has said, done, and failed to do, Mr. Trump has steadily diminished America's positive clout in global councils. Yeah. American leadership is urgently required, huh? Well, then how did you like the leading from behind approach of the previous administration, Madam Albright, Secretary Albright? What is it exactly? And she goes through, the hot spots in the world. Okay, so let's take a look at what Trump has done in Israel. Bibi Netanyahu has, welcomed Trump with open arms after 8 years of Obama. So Israel is our one ally, reliable ally in the Middle East. I mean, Jordan to some extent too, but I mean in terms of the conflict zone. And so the relationship with Israel has been strengthened under this president as compared to certainly the last president. Isn't that true, Madam Albright? North Korea bringing Kim Jong-un to the table on nukes. Again, different tactics that have been used before, like Twitter. But nonetheless, even former Obama DOD flacks had to concede that Trump's bluster in part brought him to the table, and they thought that was a good thing, Madam Albright. On Russia, on substance, Trump has taken a much more aggressive posture toward the Russians than the Obama-Clinton reset, has he not? With sanctions, now calling out Putin as part of the bad actors in Syria, expelling Russian spies, on China. We've discussed that earlier in the show. Again, tactics that are winning the praise of Fareed Zakaria at present, Miss Albright. So, again, the flirting with fascism, he's diminishing our political clout, withdrawing from Syria, a bump in troop levels in Afghanistan as the means to transition out. So, for the left, who are going to celebrate this Madeleine Albright piece because, they don't make arguments, they just make assertions. They don't provide evidence, they just provide name calling. What's the specific argument? What's the specific case study? I mean, I don't necessarily like the way Trump engages on issues all the time either. But in terms of the substance of it, with respect to these hotspots, with respect to America's standing, with respect to America's leadership, not bringing the UN to help Rocco and Moose find their wallets so they pay more of the freight. I mean, it could go on and on.
Right.
And you want to compare this to the last several presidents, including her boss? Give me a break. I mean, honestly. And so Syria, it's a terrible situation. And the pictures and the video of kids that have been victimized by these attacks, the bombings.
Oh, they're clearing their nose passages out so they can breathe and pouring, water. They said that it's a smell of chlorine. And that's what it's like down there on the ground. And it's suffocating. You can't breathe. But President Emmanuel Macron from France said that he would strike unilaterally if Syria used chemical weapons again. So he's going to have another phone conversation today with President Trump to see if they will take the lead on this.
Yeah.
To strike Syria.
To see if who would take the lead.
France said President Macron told President Trump that they would strike unilaterally if Syria used chemical weapons again.
Well, then why do they need to have a phone call?
I don't know.
Yeah. Macron. Yes, the French are going to provide the global leadership.
When my brother-in-law was stationed in Bosnia for 3 years, he was there. He said the French soldiers, they were in the warm spot. We'll let the French take the less dangerous areas.
Yeah,
because they were worried about the Bahre.
Just keep making the pastries for the boys.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, men can now win the women's division of the Boston Marathon. But first, here's your forecast, you men. Today, mostly cloudy, cold. There's snow on the ground. Yes, it's there. You'll see it. I'm not making this stuff up. And we could have rain or snow on and off throughout the day. There's a 50% chance of snow, rain. When the Cubs take to the field in their home opener against the Pittsburgh Pirates, a high today of 40. Tonight, a low of 28. And for tomorrow, it's getting warmer, guys. Sun, clouds, no snow, a high of 47. And we could hit 60 by Wednesday. Doesn't that sound nice? Now let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. The doors have opened for one Al Verde, who's in for Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Dan, on the Edens, no delays right now. It's 19 in or out from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction. The Kennedy Inn is 27, O'Hare to downtown, and half hour back out to the airport. Eisenhower in a 49-minute ride. Heavy already. Jams up from Mannheim to Austin. Again from Damon into the Circle. Outbound still in good shape. Stevenson 39 in from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 27 in from the Tri-State. Outbound is fine. Dan Ryan 20 in from 95th, no delays back down. And 57 in from 103rd to the Ryan, a bit of a backup there. Bishop Ford in from 130th to the Ryan, traffic is jammed up. 36 minutes in from 8094 to the Ryan. Still no delays to report on Lakeshore Drive, 390 looks good. Tri-State still in good shape. The Adams eastbound from the Tri-State to the Kennedy, traffic is backing up there. And Reagan eastbound from 22nd to the Tri-State is heavy. I'm Al Verde in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Don't miss Scott's Days at your local Ace, our biggest lawn and garden sale of the spring. Right now, buy any bag of Scott's fertilizer and get a free $5 reward. Come back and use it anywhere in the store to make your home or yard look great. Hurry in for great deals throughout the store during Scott's Days. Now through Monday, only at Ace. Limit one bonus reward per Ace Rewards account at participating stores through April 16th. $5 reward delivered by mail.
When the need for senior care arises, there's no place like home. Your loved ones should never have to give up living at home. Visiting Angels will provide home care for your mom or dad at home up to 24 hours per day, including personal care, meals, and light housework. You'll select your professional caregiver with Visiting Angels. Look up visitingangels.com or call 877-374-LIVE. That's 877-374-LIVE. Franchises are available. Visiting Angels, America's choice in senior home care.
Dan Proft here, and you're invited to join me at the Judson University World Leaders Forum on April 19th. This year, the forum features former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich and former Governor of Vermont Howard Dean. The topic of this year's forum, a bipartisan conversation about leadership in divided times. The World Leaders Forum features two events, a community event held at Judson University in Elgin at 2 p.m. on April 19th, to hear from both Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean before a Q&A session. Then at 5 p.m. that evening, the World Leaders Forum continues at the Hilton Chicago Hotel at a signature VIP reception featuring a photo opportunity with both Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean. A portion of the ticket is tax deductible, with proceeds funding the Judson Leadership Scholarships, innovative entrepreneurial activities, and sustaining the World Leaders Forum. I'm excited to be moderating this year's event, so join me at the Judson University World Leaders Forum with Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean. Get your tickets today at judsonu.edu/WLF. That's judsonu.edu/WLF.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I've been taking this probably about 2 years. I haven't had a cold or the flu since. I know it works. It does work. I'm one of those individuals. I own my own company. I run like a nut. So I don't have the time to sit down and have the fruits and the vegetables and everything like that for dinners and all that stuff. So it's a tried and true product. I believe in it. I can safely say, have not had a cold, have not had a flu. I do believe in it. I do believe it works. I do, I know the vegetables and the fruits and all that stuff is the best for you, and this is a great way to get it, and it's natural and it works.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
The following is a paid political announcement.
It's still hard to tell the difference between Congressman Todd Rokita and Congressman Luke Messer. Rokita and Messer are two career politicians, and for nearly 30 years, they've lived on the taxpayer dole. 30 years. They're both lawyers who never practiced, and their records in Congress are the same too. In Washington, Todd Rokita and Luke Messer voted to fast-track Obama's bad trade deals, to add $500 billion to our debt, and even to fund liberal priorities like Obama's executive amnesty, not to mention funding for abortion provider Planned Parenthood. In fact, Todd Rokita and Luke Messer have voted the exact same way in Congress 95% of the time. It's true. This election, remember, Todd Rokita and Luke Messer are the same. They're two career politicians, and they're wrong for Indiana.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and so finally, it's starting to happen the way that it needs to happen, which is the elimination of men's and women's when it comes to sport, and this can't happen soon enough, but it's coming to the marathon. Good.
Well, the Boston Marathon, which is next week.
Good.
It's a big deal, and the thing is that unlike Chicago Marathon or other marathons throughout the world, you have to qualify for Boston at your age and your race time. So people spend their whole lifespan trying to qualify for Boston, and they only take a certain amount of women and a certain amount of men, and now we have to compete with the boys who are now ladies. 5 transgenders have signed up to run in the women's section of the Boston Marathon.
I hope they're all from Kenya.
No, actually, one's from Woodstock. Stevie here. You want me to introduce you to Stevie Romer, who used to be Steve, registered as for the Boston as a woman because that's what she is. She says she hasn't done anything to lower her testosterone levels. So, that's good. She grew her hair out and started living openly as a woman more than a year ago. Quote, to be able to experience it as me is really, really important, he said. I've been a runner since as long as I can remember. I love running, but I just happen to be transgender. So they decided, okay, so now listen to this. So they made this exception this year in Boston, but now it's organizers in Chicago, New York City, London, Los Angeles are all going to honor the gender that runners submit during signups.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think that's exactly what should happen. I think, actually, forget having to do this one-off. It's just the Boston Marathon. It's just the Chicago Marathon. It's just basketball. It's just golf. It's just lacrosse. It's just track and field. There are no gender distinction. It's just best supporting actor. I want to eliminate gender everywhere. Don't half-ass it. No.
But they have an unfair physical advantage over us.
Bigot.
I'm not a bigot.
Yep. You just made a bigoted statement.
Well, but it's true.
Wait,
Men
so
are
you don't-
stronger than women in certain sports.
You don't want.
And if I deny that, come on.
You don't
I'm
want,
not as good as my
you don't
kids
want
in basketball.
you don't want Stevie to be able to experience the marathon how he wants to experience it? Why do you hate Stevie so much?
I want Stevie to wear a sports bra.
Maybe he will.
There'll be some chafing in areas he never even imagined.
Well,
yes, your nipples will bleed. Thank you.
That's experiencing it how he wants to experience it. And I think it's
I've never been one to accept transgenders in sports because I don't believe it's fair. I mean, if you're a man,
well, too bad, so sad.
then you should participate in the men's group. I told you what's happening to cycling. The Canadian cycling team, they had to put 3 transgenders on their team because they were losing. Their women's cycling team was
Shouldn't
losing.
be a women's cycling team. Should be a cycling team.
So I don't understand how this is going to end.
What do you mean you don't understand how it's going to end? It's going to end just how I said it's going to end. It's going to end just how you see it ending. What is complicated about this? It is like linear elimination of gender and gender lines.
If I became a man, I still wouldn't win the Boston Marathon. But if I'm a man becoming
Correct.
a woman, I can
You
win
would
the
not.
women's division, and it's a lot of money. It's a big purse.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, because there's a
the-
big difference between amateur runners and professionals. And these 5 men that are women, men, him,
Yeah.
shims that are signed up, I don't know how good they are. But
I guess this is where sentimental barbarism ends, isn't it? I guess that's what happens. And I guess this is the 4,172,312th instance where I have to say, when you erase the lines, you don't get to redraw them. Pandora's box is open, more ways than one, and you don't get to close it. Welcome to the new reality. Embrace it. Embrace it, people. The people who supported redefinition of marriage. It's not where it ends, but this is a continuation of it. This is the continuum that we have been put on, and it will continue. So embrace it. And I want to take it all the way, and let's get there faster. Eliminate girls' sports. I mean, I say that to just say one sport, one sporting team, and what will happen is women will be completely marginalized from sport until you then go to quotas, and then nobody will watch sports. Perfect.
in elite competitions, I've just learned, they are going to test women's testosterone levels. I guess Olympic officials use this too, that trans women can compete if their testosterone levels stay beneath a certain limit.
That'll change. And I can't wait. Here, this is.
But we're built differently. Men have more muscle.
The breaking news, CNN. Here's the thing. This is all about politics and gender relations. Tyler Cohen has a good piece on it. The gender relations, how they define our politics these days. Bloomberg is where you can find Cohen's piece.
Okay.
There's an underlying at the Republican Party national level. There's an underlying presumption men and women are very different. There's a belief that in terms of norms, behavior, and the law, men and women should be very different. That's not the position of the left. And so he writes, looking at gender helps explain why at least some aspects of American politics seem to have become more polarized with no apparent end in sight. Yeah, this is binary. You either believe that men and women are men and women, or you believe gender doesn't exist or shouldn't, or gender is fluid and a choice. It's one or the other. One implication, though, it's interesting because this may not turn out exactly how the left thinks it will turn out. and thus the need for intersectionality on the left. One implication is that a lot of recently arrived immigrants may find themselves less opposed to the Republican Party than many Democrat strategists had been expecting. Not all of those individuals will have the gender egalitarian sympathies of the well-educated women who were born and grew up in the United States, coming from other countries. You think our Latin American friends, our African friends are coming to this country saying, I don't see any difference between men and women? That their cultural background? Don't think so. So it's going to be very interesting how it ends, because millennial women and women in general are becoming more politically powerful. 47% spread for Democrats, millennial women. 47% more millennial women identify with Democrats than Republicans. Millennial men also lean Democrat, but the gap's only 8 points. But Cohen makes this point. I'm struck by the recent research that in wealthier economies, men and women tend to show greater personality differences, and that women are less likely to pursue STEM degrees, for example. So how the politics of this end is not clear. What is clear is that you're going to have a fight on your hands, that there's a real divide here, and there is no common ground, middle ground to be forged unless one side concedes the race, as it were.
Switching gears here. Today, we would like to thank Carolyn Corelli-Hurst for listening to AM 560 The Answer. Carolyn Corelli-Hurst, thank you for making Chicago's Morning Answer and AM 560 part of your day. You know what to do now. Tag you're it. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Peggy Noonan concerned about adults not growing up, because if they don't, the kids never will.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
32 in clouds. Syria and Russia this morning blaming Israel for a Syrian airbase attack early today, maybe in retaliation for a chemical attack over the weekend. Russian military sources and Syrian state TV say 2 Israeli F-15 fighter jets attacked a base near Homs, about 100 miles north of the Syrian capital. The Russian military says the Israeli planes fired 8 missiles at the base. Syrian defenses may have shot down 5. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg in hot water and in Washington, D.C. today, trying to cool that water ahead of 2 days of congressional hearings. He'll meet with lawmakers today ahead of those congressional hearings. Iran's president says President Trump would regret pulling out of a deal curbing Iran's nuclear program. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani saying his country's response will be stronger than our president imagines. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin out on the Sunday talk shows saying he doesn't believe there will be a trade war with China.
Our objective is to continue to have discussions with China. We want to have free and fair reciprocal trade. We're just looking for our companies and our workers to have a level playing field.
On CBS's Face the Nation, Mnuchin explaining the U.S. buys about $500 billion in goods from China. They buy about $135 billion in goods from the U.S. Oklahoma teacher walkout entering week number 2. We'll keep our eyes on that for you. Cubs home opener at Wrigley Field is this afternoon with the first of 3 against the Pirates. An investigation is underway after a man was found dead on Chicago's northwest side. The victim's body discovered yesterday near an alley close to Berry and Knox. The U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois will be in charge of the Justice Department response to a request for documents on some high-profile investigations. John Lauch will oversee the DOJ's production of documents to Congress. EPA officials say excavating the remaining lead and arsenic contaminating soil near a federal Superfund site in northwest Indiana. Say it could take another 3 years. Work on the former West Calumet housing complex remains on hold. The Northwest Indiana Times reporting the EPA is still evaluating cleanup alternatives. You may recall about 300 families were forced from that housing complex after 2016 testing found high lead levels in blood sampling from children. Yesterday, they did play baseball in a city that was smart enough to put a dome over a stadium. Cubs blanked the Brewers 3-0 at Miller Park. White Sox held to 3 hits and a 1-0 loss to the Tigers at Guaranteed Rate Field. Lottery balls are up for grabs when the Bulls and Nets square off tonight. The Barclays Center. Patrick Reed, your champion of the 2018 Masters. The news, a service of Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage is simple. You can understand the details and be sure you're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Visit rocketmortgage.com today. Licensed in all 50 states, equal housing lender, NMLS number 3030. 634, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager explains what secularism does to a society.
The famous quote from the end of the 19th century is, when people stop believing in God, they don't believe in nothing, they believe in anything, because wisdom begins with fear of God. Sorry, secularists out there, you are guaranteed a dumb society when you get rid of God and the Bible.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Stop by a Subway restaurant for the new double meat signature wraps for just $6.99 each. Prices may vary. Additional charge for extras plus applicable tax. Double meat based on average 6-inch sub.
How would you like to buy an $80 Napa Cabernet for $30 or a $50 Oregon Pinot Noir for $20? Hi, I'm Cameron Hughes, the founder of Cameron Hughes Wine, and these are just a few of the amazing deals you'll find at chwine.com. I partner with ultra-premium artisanal wineries from around the globe and sell their wines directly to you. Did you know that there are usually 3, sometimes 4 middlemen taking a cut on a high-end bottle of wine? By buying and selling direct, I can usually cut the price by 40 to 80%. I'm not making this up, folks. I've been doing this for 17 years now and can honestly say nobody delivers high-end boutique artisanal wines better than chwine.com. Don't take my word for it. Visit our website today and read the reviews, not just from our customers, but from top wine critics as well. Now, to get you started, we'd like to offer free shipping on a 3-bottle order. Just visit chwine.com, use promo code 2626 at checkout. chwine.com, code 2626. We guarantee every bottle of wine we sell, so visit chwine.com today and enter code 2626.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Amanda Zanger, owner of Black Industrial and Safety Supply in Hammond, Indiana, and a business customer of Signature Bank. Prior to owning my own business, I worked for a major financial institution. So when it came time to finance the acquisition of Black, I approached a big bank, only to receive a solid no. That's when Signature Bank stepped in. With Signature Bank, the process was different. Signature provided creative financing options that enabled me to purchase Black and continue to grow the business. Thanks to Signature Bank, Black Industrial is able to continue serving Fortune 500 industry fabricators and contractors with tools and safety supplies as we have since 1893.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It is 6:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. And in for Jim, here's Al.
Thanks, Mike. On the Edens inbound, it's heavy now from Toohey to Montrose, 25 in from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction. Outbound, still moving well. Kennedy in is heavy, 38 O'Hare to downtown, and 42 minutes to get back out to the airport. Eisenhower in jams up from Mannheim to Austin, 54 minutes in from 390 to the post office. Outbound, about 37 minutes. Stevenson in is 53 from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound still moving well, though. The 55 northbound from Weber to Veterans Parkway is backed up. Dan Ryan in, that's 24 from 95th to downtown. And about 17 to get back down to 95th. Bishop Ford inbound heavy between 111th and the Ryan. Traffic, a service of Staples. Staples has a huge selection of ink and toner in stock and at great prices. Right now at Staples, buy 1 HP ink and get a second 30% off so you can stock up and save. Ends 4/14. Restrictions may apply. See storestaples.com for details. Staples. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Cloudy, cold, morning snow, afternoon rain, high near 40. Cloudy and cold overnight, low 28, and then a gradual warm-up for the rest of the week. 32 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Tasty Catering. Companies serious about a successful event choose Tasty Catering. Planning begins at tastycatering.com.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. Trump sycophants bore me and never Trumpers bore me. I'll explain when freedom returns at 5.
Dan and Amy and the Civil War around the corner. Are you ready? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. This piece in Medium was making the rounds over the weekend, including a retweet from one Jack Dorsey.
Oh, really?
At Twitter. Good read, Jack Dorsey endorsed the new Civil War that Peter Leiden and Rui Teixeira are arguing for. There's no bipartisan way forward at this juncture in our history. One side must win, argue Leiden and Teixeira. The great lesson of California in America's new Civil War. California is the example of how one side can win, their side, progressive left, and it's nothing but good news because California has turned into a model of good governance, according to these two gentlemen. California was a model of governmental dysfunction in the 1990 to 2005 period, with Democrats and Republicans at each other's throats and little being accomplished. So toxic did the atmosphere become. Democrat Governor Gray Davis recalled, replaced with populist Schwarzenegger, who then proceeded to up the ante on polarization by pushing a series of conservative ballot initiatives in a special election in 2005, all defeated. After that point, it was the downhill for conservative GOP agenda in California. Schwarzenegger understood the sea change early, dumped right-wing populism, became far more moderate, going along with many progressive priorities. And now look at California. It's picking them up and putting them down. Budget surpluses, people fleeing, but okay. A huge disparity in wealth, but okay. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's a bad thing when it's just nothing in the middle, just the uber wealthy insulated from terrible public policy and beneficiaries of transfer payments and the very poor, and as well as the very illegal, which is part of it. Now look at California. In the 90s, there was essential parity between Republicans and Democrats in their legislature. Today, it's almost 3-1 in favor of Democrats. Plus, of course, both U.S. Senate seats, every statewide elected office, and the Republicans have been completely marginalized. That's the way forward, because we've got some problems here. We got two classes at odds. Again, this is according to the authors. And we have two cultures at odds. The Republican Party, in a prosaic argument, is the party of the rich. Since the 80s, their policies have engorged the rich while flattening incomes for the majority. That's the argument. And then two cultures at odds, and we were talking a little bit about that in the gender politics prior to Mike Scott's news update. Mm-hmm. So you want to get this thing on? Now, they say it doesn't require shots to be fired, so that's the good news.
Oh, good.
But it doesn't require it. Doesn't mean it won't include it. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. What do you think? Time to suit up?
Oh, we're better than that. Come on.
Bipartisanship, not the way forward, says the left. Well, golly, that's going to take the political ruling class's talking point away, isn't it? The refrigerator magnet that they like to post everywhere. Bipartisan compromise.
That's democracy. Nobody's really happy.
Bipartisan compromise. Right?
I mean, no, that's, democratic society. Not everyone's going to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even if your sides win, there's still some people that aren't happy.
Well, not happy is one thing. Civil war between the classes and the cultures, according to them. That we're in this period, they suggest, because of how these things need to get fleshed out. The new technological environment we live in, and the existential threats to humanity like climate change. These things have to get worked out. Only one side can win because They're fundamentally at odds, and so we got to hash this out. Now, this is like the 1850s, after the 1850s after the Civil War, when Republicans were ascendant, right? When the North won, Lincoln's leadership.
I always remind my kids that Abraham Lincoln was a Republican.
1930s, after the depths of the Great Depression, enter FDR and his New Deal, and Democrats were ascended for 50 years. Well, we're at that point now where one side has to win. No more of this namby-pamby back and forth. 8 years of Bush, 8 years of Obama, 4 years of Trump, Republicans in charge, Democrats in charge. Got to end. One party has to have a governing supermajority. Now, by the way, the Republican Party does have a supermajority, is the supermajority of the party at present. That fact evaded Mr. Leyden and Mr. Teixeira in their remarks. And one other thing. The collapse of Republicans in California, they've got the history right. They've got the reasons wrong. So, 1990 to 2005, and then the recall of Gray Davis provided a great opportunity for Republicans. They chose the populist instead of the conservative McClintock. And so what's actually happened and why the Republican Party has been completely marginalized is not because they pushed a series of ballot initiatives that were defeated. It's because of the second thing that they said happened under Schwarzenegger, which led to his marginalization. Schwarzenegger understood the sea change early, dumped right-wing populism, became far more moderate, going along with many progressive priorities. Yeah, all the way to present day where he's suing oil companies for murder.
Right.
Friggin' dingbat that he is.
I think that's going to get thrown out, but yeah.
And so what they did, when you adopt the other side's agenda, you destroy your party. Is that complicated? So what California...
That's what Ronner's done.
Right. There's your analogy. What California Republicans did under Schwarzenegger was self-immolate. What Republicans have done in Illinois and are continuing to do, and this will be the resolve for a generation, is self-immolate. Democrats aren't lighting the match. Republicans are. Dennis in Crystal Lake.
Dan, all I got to say is us Christian white wackos, beans and bullets are ready to roll, and avocados do not travel very well.
All right, thanks for the call, Dennis.
Beans and bullets?
I don't know about beans.
What does that mean?
I have to have something a little bit more, like steakums or something. I need something a little bit more hearty than beans. David in McCook.
Hey, good morning, guys. Have you noticed the common theme of California democratically controlled, Illinois, same thing, New York, same thing, Baltimore, Maryland, huge exodus. Coincidence? You be the judge.
Well, there's no question. Yeah, that's why. Thanks for the call, David. I mean, not to mention, California is such a model of good governance that they've got a secession movement afoot.
Oh, to separate North and South California?
Well, or to separate from the United States under Trump.
Oh.
Right, yeah.
Oh, then there's...
Yeah. So there's
South Carolina trying to do that, too?
There's secession legislation that's been introduced in South Carolina. They kind of getting back to their Calhounist roots a little bit down there.
Okay.
But
good luck with that. We wish you well.
But David from McCook is right. I mean, where the states that are hemorrhaging population are the deep blue states dominated by Democrats or surrender Republicans helping out like they are here in Illinois. And these are states that are sort of economic wrecks. California may have a temporary budget surplus under Brown, but that doesn't mean that things are going well there. Bubbling below the surface are all sorts of foundational infirmities in California, such as the size of its welfare state. So we'll see how that plays out. Budget surpluses can be very temporary things, particularly as the productive individuals continue to Art Laffer their way east, away from California. So we'll just see about that. But we'll see about the Civil War, too. I mean, there's something to be said for the honesty of Leyden and Teixeira. If only conservatives were as stout of heart on this. They understand that this is at minimum a political war, and they're playing for keeps. And the question is, will those who don't want to be assimilated rise to the occasion? Larry and Bartlett, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. That previous caller mentioned about how all the Democratic ruled states are losing population. Well, I've been an election judge here for over 20 years, and it terrifies me the number of people who have moved in, all the new voters. They're all registering as Democrats. They're bringing that crap with them that they're running away from. They're not smart enough to know the difference.
Thanks for the call, Larry.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. Holding their breath on Wall Street, Facebook scandal widens as Zuckerberg gets ready to face Congress, and Best Buy has a data breach. Those stories next.
Hi, this is Jack from Banyan Hill. You might have heard about that $34.6 billion that's expected to be doled out in what we call freedom checks. Huge checks that are changing people's lives from coast to coast. People like Sean from Pittsburgh. In fact, he's on the phone right now. Sean, you there?
Yes, I am, Jack.
Sean, let me ask you, how do you like getting these massive checks in your mailbox every month?
Well, Jack, we used to put stuff on credit cards living paycheck to paycheck. But now, after we started collecting a specific kind of freedom check, I have to say, life's a lot more fun.
I bet it is. In fact, getting massive freedom checks is fun no matter who you are. And with $34.6 billion expected to be paid out in private, non-government money starting as early as May 1st, now's the time to stake your claim on some cash. To get all the details, go to www.freedomchecks126.com before the May 1st deadline. That's www.freedomchecks126.com.
Wall Street will be holding its breath as trading resumes today after a steep drop in shares on Friday during escalating talk of a trade war between the U.S. and China. President Trump and his advisors spent the weekend mapping out their next moves in the effort to battle Chinese encroachment on American trademarks. As Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg prepares to face a committee of the U.S. House 2 days from now, the social network is facing more trouble. Facebook has been secretly deleting messages Zuckerberg sent through its Messenger app. Ordinary users can't delete such messages. Another retail cyber breach. Electronics retailer Best Buy is warning a small portion of its customer base that their payment information may have been exposed. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. I'm Keith Peters for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Americans in every tax bracket got a tax cut thanks to the tax bill signed into law last year. The economy is growing, wages are rising, and Americans are feeling better about the future. And you've got more money to spend on what's important to you and your priorities. It's your money, after all. But Democrats in Congress who voted against the tax cuts are promising to raise your taxes if they win in November. They want to take your money back to spend on their priorities. Only you can stop them. To find out how much more of your money you get to keep instead of sending it to Washington, D.C., go to taxcutswork.com now, taxcutswork.com. There's an easy-to-use calculator. It will tell you how much money the new tax cuts are saving you this year. Check your savings at taxcutswork.com and then sign a letter to Congress telling them to keep their hands off your tax cut savings. Go to taxcutswork.com because the money you're saving is yours. Taxcutswork.com is the website. Check your savings and let Congress know you want to keep your savings.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
Ever hire a plumber at an odd time for an emergency? The hourly rate could send you into cardiac arrest. It'd be nice to have someone on call 24/7 for those once every few year emergencies, but probably not necessary. Now your business is IT? That's a completely different story. The potential for problems if your IT system isn't properly maintained could be more than those once every few year plumbing backups. For peace of mind, turn to Turnkey IT. Their monthly support contracts will keep your business's computer systems online and running well. No more waiting for an hourly IT tech to get back to you and charging you an enormous after-hours rate. The certified pros at Turnkey will keep your business's computer system online with unlimited on-site and remote support. And for a limited time, you can save up to $500 a month on a support contract, plus unlimited cloud backup at no cost. Get the secure feeling your business backbone is supported by Turnkey IT.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because of my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy, Ryan Kelly, at thehomeloanexpert.com. Over the last several years, it's been difficult for business owners and self-employed borrowers to refinance or buy homes, but that's about to change, Ryan. Tell everyone about your new loan program.
We're really excited to announce the Bank Statement Mortgage. The Bank Statement Mortgage is going to be a game changer in the industry. We're the first people to bring it out to the market. Here's the deal. If you're a business owner or self-employed, maybe you're a dentist, a doctor, a lawyer, a realtor, insurance agent, a contractor, a web designer, whatever it is, you should be taking advantage of all of your taxable, all your deductions. When you do that, you might make $70,000 a year, but after you write everything off, you're down to about $25,000, and you can't qualify for a mortgage on $25,000 in adjusted gross income. Well, I don't need your tax returns, pay stubs, 1099s, or any of that. I'll qualify you on your bank statements. If you're self-employed and you need a mortgage, apply online today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC.
Dan Proft here, and you're invited to join me at the Judson University World Leaders Forum on April 19th. This year, the forum features former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich and former Governor of Vermont Howard Dean. The topic of this year's forum, a bipartisan conversation about leadership in divided times. The World Leaders Forum features two events, a community event held at Judson University in Elgin at 2 p.m. on April 19th, to hear from both Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean before a Q&A session. Then at 5 p.m. that evening, the World Leaders Forum continues at the Hilton Chicago Hotel at a signature VIP reception featuring a photo opportunity with both Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean. A portion of the ticket is tax deductible, with proceeds funding the Judson Leadership Scholarships, innovative entrepreneurial activities, and sustaining the World Leaders Forum. I'm excited to be moderating this year's event, so join me at the Judson University World Leaders Forum with Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean. Get your tickets today at judsonu.edu/WLF. That's judsonu.edu/WLF.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Supporting veterans is our passion. That's why we support Veteran Roasters, a Chicago coffee roaster that hires homeless and chronically unemployed veterans. If you'd like to help create jobs for homeless veterans, visit veteranroasters.com and purchase a 12-ounce bag of coffee roasted and ground by once homeless and unemployed veterans. The coffee's delicious, and the profits are reinvested in hiring additional homeless veterans. veterans. Use promo code Team Hochberg to save 50% off the second bag you purchase. If you're a veteran securing a VA loan and would like to work with a local lender who supports veterans, call Team Hochberg now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com.
Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
AM 560, The Answer.
Our next event, live event that is, coming up Thursday, May 17 at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Cigar night with Larry Elder.
I think you had a cigar weekend. Ooh, I could smell it in this room.
Every day's a cigar day. Every night's a cigar night for me. But Larry Elder is the feature at May 17th, on May 17th at Bolingbrook Golf Club. We'll sit down, light up a couple cigars, enjoy an adult beverage together, and discuss the big issues facing our country. After the event, Larry will stick around, sign copies of his latest book. Tickets on sale right now. Premium tickets are already sold out. General admission tickets still available. Go to 560theanswer.com/cigar. 560theanswer.com/cigar, and join Larry Elder and me on May 17th.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Peggy Noonan wants Mark Zuckerberg to grow up. Good luck with that at 7:07.
And it wasn't Ricky, Jordan, Tiger, or Phil, but a newcomer, Patrick, who won the Masters. But now first, here's Mike Scott.
The Cubs could experience winter weather for the home opener, and a BU student from Chicago killed in Peoria. WIND Chicago News Time 7.
A missile attack in Syria. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Russia claims they were Israeli airstrikes that hit a Syrian airbase. At least 14 people reportedly killed, including Iranians, days after that purported chemical attack on a rebel-held area.
The video coming out of Syria shows families in Douma suffocating with white foam on their mouths.
Fox's Connor Powell at our Middle East Bureau.
According to rescue workers and activists in Syria, as many as 500 people have been treated for symptoms consistent with some type of poison chemical attack. So the number of dead, which now stands about 40, could rise in the next day or so.
Now, the UN Security Council will hold an emergency meeting today. President Trump says Syria will pay a big price.
What would be a big price? To lose your Air Force. This should be the last time a barrel bomb is dropped on innocent civilians.
That's Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. In the fight against illegal immigration, National Guard troops keep gathering near the Mexican border. Fox's Eben Brown's live in McAllen, Texas.
Yeah, Dave, this border town is sometimes infamous for the number of people who try to cross into the United States illegally, and is expected to get a number of National Guard troops posted here, but what their jobs will be is not yet known. The law says soldiers cannot be used for law enforcement, but they can be used for logistics or even surveillance. Just a few soldiers have arrived over the weekend to places like McAllen here. More are expected today and this week. It is not known how long they will stay, Dave.
Eben, anyone on Facebook should watch their news feed today.
Facebook says it will show users a link at the top of their news feed so they can see what apps they use and the information they have shared with those apps. Users will be able to remove apps they don't want. This comes after it was revealed that Cambridge Analytica, a political data firm hired by the Trump campaign, gained access to the private information of more than 87 million Facebook users.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg will testify before Congress tomorrow and Wednesday. This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
31 degrees in Chicago. We have mostly cloudy skies and light snow falling on opening day. Festival Makers near Wrigley Field at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. An investigation is underway after a man was found dead on Chicago's northwest side. Police say the victim's body was discovered yesterday near an alley close to Berry and Knox Avenues. The man, according to police, had suffered injuries to his face and body. Authorities investigating after a Bradley University student from Chicago was killed in an off-campus shooting in Peoria. Cousin April Hill says Najee Murray was destined to do great things.
Nothing's going to hold her back. She's going to keep going and surpass all of us, do things that we weren't able to do. And, unfortunately, it's cut short.
The 18-year-old was one of two who died after they were shot early yesterday in the 1800 block of West Bradley Avenue in Peoria. 3 were shot and killed over the weekend in a violence-filled weekend in Peoria. Murray was a freshman biomedical science major on a pre-med track who graduated from King College Prep on the south side. 3 are dead, 6 others hurt following 2 separate car crashes in Bartlett. Police say one woman died. Another person seriously hurt after two vehicles collided near Route 59 and Auburn Lane. Just about 2 hours later, an SUV rolled over on Lake Street near the Route 59 overpass. A driver and a female passenger were killed. 5 others in the vehicle hospitalized, all with non-life-threatening injuries. Drivers in a bit of a hurry in Chicago's northwest suburbs might want to take note on the Jane Addams Memorial Toll Road. Tollway has raised the speed limit for passenger cars on a couple of stretches of that tollway, also known as I-90, between Des Plaines and Elgin, from 55 to 70 miles an hour. Jose Quintana and 3 relievers combined on a 3-hit shutout. Cubs blanked the Brewers 3-0 in Miller Park. White Sox held to 3 hits and a 1-0 loss to the Tigers at Guaranteed Rate Field. Lottery balls up for grabs tonight when the Bulls and Nets square off at the Barclays Center. Blackhawks season comes to a close with a 4-1 loss to the Jets in Winnipeg. The news service of Staples. Staples has a huge selection of ink and toner in stock and at great prices. Right now at Staples, buy one HP ink and get a second 30% off. So you can stock up and save. Ends 4/14. Restrictions may apply. See store or staples.com for details. Staples. 7:04. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity just wants jobs to stay in America.
That these auto companies are now building their plants, their factories right here in America, and so many are now committing to doing it. I want American-built cars, and I don't care if it's Honda. I don't care if they're building the cars here and they're American jobs here. That's what I care about.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Buying a new tractor? You owe it to yourself to visit your LS Tractor dealer. LS Tractors give you a lot more tractor for less money compared to other brands. For starters, LS Tractor comes with more select features as standard equipment. They make operating your tractor easier with better performance to get more work done quicker. Compare and you'll know who gives you more tractor for your money. LS Tractor. Excel in your field. Learn more at lstractorusa.com.
Visit Abbey Equipment in Streeter and get more tractor.
Let's see here. Fire protection?
Check.
Uniforms, mats, and restroom products?
Check.
First aid cabinets and safety products?
Check.
Great! So it sounds like we're ready to go.
No. When I said check, I meant we still need to check on all those things.
Oh, just call Cintas. They can handle all of it. It's what they do.
Okay. Call Cintas. Check. Got it.
Oh, I'm ready! Learn how Cintas can help you get ready for the workday. Visit Cintas.com.
7:06 on AM 560. It's time for a dry basement and a healthy home. Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. And time to check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Al.
Thank you, Mike. On the Edens, things are heavy from Dempster to Montrose inbound, half hour in from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction. Back out to Lake Cook, about a 23-minute ride. Kennedy inbound 56 from O'Hare to downtown and a full hour to get back out to the airport. The Eisenhower in, that's almost an hour, 59 minutes, 390 to the post office, 41 outbound. Stevenson is an hour into Lakeshore Drive and 40 to get back out to 355. 55 northbound jams up between Weber and Veterans Parkway. Dan Ryan in 39 from 95th to downtown, still no outbound delays to speak of. 57 inbound is heavy from 123rd to the Rhine, about 27 in from 80. Bishop Ford in slows from 130th to before the Rhine, and outbound from 154th to 159th that's heavy, where an accident has the center lane blocked. Lakeshore Drive northbound hits the brakes between the Stevenson and about Jackson. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Mostly cloudy skies throughout the day and night. Bit of morning snow followed by a rain or snow shower in spots for the afternoon. Storm total snowfall amount an inch or two, high 40, and a low tonight 28. Clouds and sun tomorrow, high 47. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Snow across the area, 31 degrees at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Lou Bridges Show. Get foreclosure defense solutions that may save your home. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Peggy Noonan's piece over the weekend, if adults won't grow up, nobody will. Not a new argument, but I like this comparison she makes. She starts out with a topic we've discussed often with, frankly, deeper thinkers than Peggy Noonan, and that is simple. The job of adults, to pattern adulthood for those coming up who are looking always for how to do it, how to be a fully formed man, a fully grown woman. And she says she sees, Peggy Noonan, more people trembling under the weight of who they are. Talking about Laura Ingraham getting in trouble for the tweet in David Hogg's direction, talking about the men in media and entertainment who, one by one, were exposed by their own boorish behavior towards women. For example, this, and she makes a good point, they were mostly great successes, middle-aged, and so natural leaders of the young. But they treated the young as prey. They didn't respect them, in part because they didn't respect themselves. Okay. Here's a point she makes, though, that's pertinent. Our culture has always honored the young, but it has not always honored immaturity. You can honor the young without honoring immaturity. There's a distinction to be made, and there's an example to be provided, and she suggests that's lacking. Do you agree? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. The comparison she uses is the civil rights era versus the tech era. She writes about spending a few days watching videos of the civil rights era, the King era, something unexpectedly poignant in them. When you see those involved in the momentous time, you notice they dressed as adults with dignity, presented themselves with self-respect. They wore adult attire, suits, dresses, coats, ties, hats, as if adulthood were something to which to aspire. I miss their style and seriousness, writes Noonan. What we're stuck with now is Mark Zuckerberg's. You know, T-shirt, hoodie. Yeah, too cool
Jeans,
for school from the nerds.
Gym shoes. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, think about church. Or think about sporting events. I mean, people would go to opening day at Wrigley back in the 20s and the 30s dressed to the nines. And they're beautiful. Their best suits, hats. I mean, it was a different era.
There's no question.
And then church, too. You look at church. I mean, you could never. It was unimaginable that jeans could ever be worn at church. And now that's all that people wear.
Well, and Noonan...
We dummy down our society?
Well, dumbing down,
well,
yes, but I mean, we're talking about the leading lights.
Right.
So this is sort of a cultural issue she's describing, a maturity issue. She writes about Zuckerberg. He's no child. He's a giant bestride the age, a titan, one of the richest men not only in the world, but in the history of the world. His power is awesome. His current problems have yielded a moment of promise, however, and she points out Tim Cook sort of taking him to task. But she writes that the reversal on the issue of privacy, right? Tim Cook saying privacy to us is a human right, saying that at Apple. Silicon Valley has been telling us since social media's inception, privacy is dead, get over it. Some variation on that statement has been made over and over by Silicon Valley's pioneers, and they say it blithely, cavalierly, with no apparent sense of tragedy, because they don't do tragedy, they do children's clothes. And she points out Zuckerberg's forthcoming appearance before Congress. Meetings today. He testifies on Wednesday before congressional committees.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where Peggy, I think, spins off the road a bit. Mark Zuckerberg invited Congress to regulate him. Wondering why? It has occurred to me it's because he knows Congress is too stupid to do it effectively. He buys lobbyists to buy them. He knows how craven, unserious, and insecure they are, and would have no particular respect for them, nor would he have particular reason to. I hope, she's talking about members of Congress now, I hope they are adults. I hope they don't showboat or yell, but really probe carefully. Well, there's no hope for that. Talk about a quixotic desire. More than ever, the adults have to rise to the fore and set the template for what is admirable. If we don't, those who follow us will be less admirable even than us, and those after them less admirable still. That would be a tragedy, wouldn't it? Would it? Or does it matter? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636DA, turnkey.pro, text line. Do we just do like we do in Illinois, genuflect before power and money? I mean, the buying a lobbyist, they have no self-respect. And the funny thing is, people think I support the political ruling class or the titans of industry, and somehow they respect me if I genuflect before them. They don't. They don't. I think the evidence of what they do is replete and supports my contention. And what they do is shine you on. Remember Mark Zuckerberg's speech, his commencement address at Harvard? Yeah.
The walls of Harvard.
Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, I mean, it's a punchline. In the series Silicon Valley on HBO, the whole everybody's in this to make the world a better place is a punchline.
Right.
But so many of us don't get the joke because we are the joke. Mark Zuckerberg, calling forth our better angels in this commencement speech. I mean, it's just insufferable. At least that's my opinion, but maybe you're inspired by Mark.
A lot of people are feeling disconnected and depressed and are trying to fill a void in their lives. As I've traveled around, I've sat with children in juvenile detention and opioid addicts who've told me that maybe their lives would have turned out differently if they just had something to do, an after-school program or somewhere to go. I've met factory workers who know their old jobs aren't coming back and are just trying to find their path ahead. For our society to keep moving forward, we have a generational challenge to not only create new jobs, but create a renewed sense of purpose.
So that's what you're going to hear when he testifies before Congress. He's going to repeat back to the political hacks what they feed us. He's going to give them a campaign stump speech just like he gave those in attendance at the Harvard commencement. Same thing, and they'll eat it up because it's a mutual admiration, symbiotic relationship to be parasitic on the body politic. Fascinating. Listen, more Zuckerberg? Are you sick yet?
Now, today, we have a level of wealth inequality that hurts everyone.
He's upset about wealth.
When you don't have the freedom to take your idea and turn it into a historic enterprise, we all lose. And right now, today, our society is way over-indexed on rewarding people when they're successful, and we don't do nearly enough to make sure that everyone can take lots of different shots. Now, let's face it, there is something wrong with our system when I can leave here and make billions of dollars in 10 years, while millions of students can't even afford to pay off their loans, let alone start a business.
He's the everyman.
Thanks for reminding me, Mark Zuckerberg.
It's the scene.
He feels guilty about his wealth.
It's the scene on Radical Chic where Leonard Bernstein is hosting a party. This is the Tom Wolfe book, right? Yeah. Leonard Bernstein is hosting a party, fundraiser for the Black Panthers at his Park Avenue penthouse in New York. And he, walks down the stairs and he's talking to one of the Black Panthers. He says, "Aren't you disgusted by this opulence?" And the Black Panther says, "No, I think, essentially, I think it's pretty great. I wish And Leonard Bernstein says, "I am. It's your place."
Right.
He's disgusted by the opulence. Like this has been foisted upon him.
Like,
he's so
old.
He so rails against the system.
But that's how much Hollywood actors are. I mean, they're so rich and they have all this wealth and they feel guilty about it.
Well, that's right. That's certainly a part of it. Here's something else though that we do.
They rip on the environment. We have to be kind to Mother Earth, and then they drive around the gas guzzling SUVs.
Yeah.
Cadillac Escalades. They're Citation 8s or they're G6s.
Yeah,
those
right.
Are private
They
planes.
make apocalypse porn like Al Gore and then take off in a private jet. Exactly. No question.
And have more house than they'll ever need in their lives.
One of the other things though that we do, because they're a function of us, and this is sort of what, in part, I think what Peggy Noonan is getting to, or she should be getting to. It's not just what we reward people who come up with a particular technological innovation or operate the biggest hedge fund or come up with the latest social media portal that everybody wants to use and they make, billions of dollars. It's what we think about them. And it causes them to think that way about themselves. Goes back to our conversation with Peter Schweitzer last week about his book, Secret Empires. Mm-hmm. Oh, the people, what we need is more people who are rich because they're insulated from corruption. They're not getting into politics to make money, so you never have to worry about Penny Pritzker engaged in rent-seeking behavior or beset by conflicts of interest. And in point of fact, as Peter Schweitzer documents, actually you do. Actually you do, because they feel entitled because we have given them that feeling of entitlement. So the idea that just because somebody is very wealthy, they don't need the salary or the retirement benefits of a politician, that they're somehow incorruptible, nonsense. And yet I hear it all the time. I'm talking about from the Republican side. Oh, he's got his own money, so he doesn't need to worry about it. And so that means he's somehow what, he's more ethical? Nonsense. Idiocy. The other piece of the bias here is the guy who made a lot of money, successful in one realm, so he's apparently smart, allegedly smart. So that means he's smart in all kinds of other realms too. No, not necessarily. Point of fact, you can be an impresario in one area and a dolt in another. And it's remarkable to me how people conflate talent in one area to talent across the board. Anybody who's been successful in one industry or with one venture is King Midas. Hardly. George in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Great point, Dan. I'll tell you, the most successful guys I know are the ones that'll tell you, hey, listen, I'm good at what I do, and that's about it.
Yeah,
and they have
exactly.
the ability to laugh at themselves. But I'll tell you what, this whole thing with our Congress, what does the average congressman spend each day literally raising funds to keep his butt in office? Is it 3 to 4 hours?
Depending on how safe the seat is. Yeah, right.
And I'll tell you, the thing that's so maddening about all this is Zuckerberg's, et cetera. These are the same people that create the technology to build kiosks so that we can order our cheeseburgers at McDonald's without having to talk to somebody. And then that person goes on unemployment because they also increase the wage to $15 an hour. And then at the same time stand at the podium and say, this is a crime against humanity. And last, what's so maddening is how many stupid people actually believe this. It's the same people that walk around saying we should have open borders, listening to their politicians who live behind closed walls. And I hear this from people in my office. I'm like, are you out of your mind? What's good for them should be good for us. Well, I don't see it that way. And it's just, you can't fix stupid sometimes. So thanks for taking the call, guys.
Thanks, George.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Good text. Remember the Michael Corleone line in The Godfather about contempt for money being one of the tricks of the rich to keep down the poor.
Right.
That's what this is.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, I think I found the right school for Peyton. I want to run it by Dan. But first, here's your forecast. Today, cloudy, snow on the ground, especially in the city, especially still at Wrigley Field. It is covered. It's going to be cold, and there's a chance of rain-snow mix around game time today for the Cubs home opener. A high of 40 degrees. Tonight, a low of 28. And tomorrow, no rain or snow. That's good. And things are going to be heating up around here. We're going to have some sun tomorrow, some clouds, but warmer, a high of 47 degrees, then 60 by Wednesday. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's the one and only. We're so blessed to have you. Here's Al Verde in for Jim Telemonte.
My pleasure. Thanks, Amy. Dan. On the Edens, inbound now, it's heavy from Toohey to Montrose, 29 in from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction, 24 back out. Kennedy inbound, that's 45 from O'Hare to downtown, 23 from Montrose and the locals, and the express lanes will save you about 5 minutes. Back out to the airport is 58 minutes. Eisenhower in, that's almost a full hour to the post office, 45 back out. Stevenson, an hour 7 into Lakeshore Drive, 49 on the outbound side there. Dan Ryan is 38 in from 95th to downtown. No outbound delays to mention this morning. 57 inbound, heavy from 123rd to the Ryan. Bishop Ford in from 130th. It's backed up, and about 54 minutes in from 8094. Lakeshore Drive southbound slows Irving Park to Fullerton, and northbound between Stevenson and Jackson, it's heavy. I'm Al Verdi in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I can't thank you enough for this product. Because I get up in the morning, I take 6 capsules of the fruit, and I get this wonderful wellness feeling and alertness. And you got to understand, I'm 90 years old.
It's really helped me and my husband and my son a lot, with our immune systems. We haven't been sick. We've been avoiding, all of that. So I'm really happy with that.
This is a wonderful product. I mean, I just feel so different.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
You've heard us say if your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy.
Also, if your gutters, siding, windows, or entry door is needy,
call Crumweedy.
What's that all about?
This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson, the boys from Crumweedy.
We created a special deal just for you. Replace your roof and receive free gutters. Or replace the siding or windows on your home and receive a free entry door.
We'll do a great job, and you'll get the Crumweedy promise of installation that is up to manufacturer specifications, so your warranty is intact.
And get free gutters or an entry door as a thank you. Some restrictions apply, and this special won't last long.
We fix roof, siding, and window problems. We're here. We're a third-generation family business that was built on the same conservative values as you. If your home is needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
Get all the info at myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
It's Dan Proft, and I'm excited to tell you about the Dangerous Camp for Boys and over 20 other summer camps from Northridge Prep. What's Dangerous Camp? It's a camp designed to get your boys off their iPads, iPhones, and video games this summer. It's dangerously fun, not unsafe. They throw water balloons, play games, and learn the meaning of outdoor adventure. As a listener to the morning show, you've heard me talk about Northridge Prep, the all-boys school in Niles that instills the traditional values you hold as parents. Their summer programs for boys in grades 1 through 8 combine fun, adventure, and character growth. You won't find camps like this anywhere else. A few camps caught my eye, like basketball camps led by a former NCAA Division I coach and varsity players, battles of the Civil War, bugs and botany, intro to musical improv, even a robotics camp where campers learn to build, pilot, and code their own robots. Get your son off the couch and into the outdoors. You can learn more and register online at northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
Everyone needs to make smart financial decisions, and Townstone Financial can help. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. I always say Townstone cares about you more than any other mortgage company. So what if I told you that Townstone loves to talk to its customers? It's 2018. The internet is great for many things. However, until artificial intelligence can figure out if your condominium can be approved or correctly calculate your bonus and commission income, it's really a good idea to let the experts at Townstone Financial help you with your next refinance, purchase, or reverse mortgage. Since our time is free and so is our expert advice. Keep in mind, you are not paying a penny more in closing costs or interest rate for our knowledge and guidance. We pride ourselves on beating the big banks every day on closing costs and interest rates. And remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me, Barry Sterner, today at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110, or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage license C 6629 and NMLS 136639. Equal housing lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
I found the perfect school.
Bennett.
For Peyton. No, not Bennett. It's a school. It's been in development for a while now, kind of like for 15 years. It's an effort to get this new school built in the Dunning neighborhood. You know where that is, the Dunning neighborhood?
Yeah, it's on the northwest side.
Yeah. But the problem is...
By Portage Park. Oh, this is the one buried on...
Buried, you mean?
I mean, this is the one that's being built on...
Yeah, the former site of the Cook County poorhouse, where an estimated 38,000 people were buried in unmarked graves. Some of the dead residents were too poor to afford funeral costs, and there's unclaimed bodies, and so they have to...
Still voting.
I think 38,000. I mean, that's the population of Mount Prospect is buried on this one site, and they're going to build a school there. I think it'll be a little spooky. Do you think
it'll be
it'll
haunted school?
Haunted school.
Yeah.
So that's on us. Also, guess what? Unclaimed bodies and patients from the county's insane asylum. Whoa. It gets more sinister. So maybe we can get them into that school.
Yeah, it's going to be a high school.
Yeah, well, they're still deciding. Middle school, high school, feeder school for Taft High School. So
no, most CPS schools is Night of the Living Dead. Why should that be any different?
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
Molly Ringwald is awoke to the impropriety of John Hughes films. Wait till you get a load of her at 7:37.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Snow and 31 degrees. We're watching the blame game this morning. Syria and Russia now blaming Israel for attacking a Syrian airbase earlier today. Russian military sources and Syrian state TV believe it was two Israeli F-15 fighter jets attacking an airbase near Homs. That's about 100 miles north of the capital of Damascus. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg will be in Washington, D.C. today, trying to get ahead of 2 days of congressional hearings over his company's data sharing and privacy policy controversy. Reuters reports Zuckerberg will huddle up with some lawmakers that will be on congressional committees he'll be testifying before this week. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin does not believe this morning that there will be a trade war with China.
Our objective is to continue to have discussions with China. We want to have free and fair reciprocal trade. We're just looking for our companies and our workers to have a level playing field.
Mnuchin on CBS's Face the Nation. We'll be watching as Oklahoma's teacher walkout enters week number 2. Thousands of educators still calling for pay hikes for teachers and increased school funding. An investigation is underway after a man was found dead on Chicago's northwest side. Police say the victim's body was discovered yesterday morning in an alley near Berry and Knox. Authorities investigating after a Bradley University student from Chicago was killed in an off-campus shooting in Peoria. Najee Murray was 18, one of two who died when they were shot yesterday in the 1800 block of West Bradley Avenue in Peoria. And the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois will be in charge of the Justice Department's response to a request for documents of some high-profile investigations. John Lausch will be named to that post by the Attorney General later today. Cubs blanked the Brewers yesterday 3-0 at Miller Park. White Sox were held to 3 hits and a 1-0 loss to the Tigers. Chicago swept in that 3-game set. Sox open up a series with the Rays at the rate this afternoon. Blackhawks season came to a close with a 4-1 loss to the Jets in Winnipeg. The Nevada Wolfpack will get a rematch next season against the team that beat them in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA basketball tournament. The Reno Gazette tweeting out this morning that Loyola is among the 8 non-conference teams Nevada has already scheduled for the 2018-2019 season. The news service of Lowe's, Spring Black Friday is back at Lowe's with great savings like $40 off a Works 5-piece cordless power equipment combo, now for $139. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. 7:33, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I am a Trump supporter.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Now, I am a Trump supporter who will freely criticize the president when I think he's done wrong. And done wrong can be sending out a stupid tweet, raising taxes, or supporting amnesty. Can be anything. It's the issues to me. And when President Trump does something that does not advance those issues, I'll call him out on it.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
Protect your firearms and valuables with the best money can buy. A Liberty Safe from Maxson Shooter's Supplies and the new LibertySafeChicago.com. Maxson stocks the complete line of Liberty Safes and accessories. You can also customize, configure, and order online at LibertySafeChicago.com. Pick it up at Maxson or have it delivered and professionally installed. Right now, Liberty is offering 0% financing for qualified customers. And during April, you can purchase a Liberty Floor Safe from Maxson at up to $500 off. Owning a Liberty Safe has never been so easy. For over 25 years, millions of American homes have trusted their 100% made in the U.S. Liberty Safes to protect their guns, keep them out of reach of children, and protect their valuables from theft and fire. Liberty stands behind every safe with a lifetime warranty. If anyone tries to break into your Liberty Safe, they'll repair or replace it for free. Choose your Liberty Safe in person at Maxson Shooters Supplies in Des Plaines or shop online at LibertySafeChicago.com.
7:35. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Al.
Thank you, Mike. On the Edens inbound, it slows 2E to Montrose, 28 in from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction, and heavy outbound, too, 31 to get back up to Lake Cook. Kennedy inbound, that's 45 from the airport, 23 from the junction, and the express lanes, they'll save you about 5 minutes. Back out to O'Hara is a 58-minute ride. The Eisenhower in, that's an hour or 2 to the post office, 53 back out to 390. Stevenson in, an hour 7 to Lakeshore Drive, 54 to get out to 355. Dan Ryan in is 39 from 95th to downtown, slows from 95th to the Skyway, again from 51st right into the Circle. And 57 inbound from 123rd to the Ryan, traffic is backed up. Traffic's a service of Staples. Staples has a huge selection of ink and toner in stock and at great prices. Right now at Staples, buy 1 HP ink and get a second 30% off. So you can stock up and save. Ends 4/14. Restrictions may apply. See store or staples.com for details. Staples. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Cloudy skies, very cold. Bit of morning snow, and that turns to rain this afternoon as we approach 40 degrees. Cloudy and cold and 28 overnight, 47 tomorrow, and a welcome sign. How about 60 on Wednesday? 32 right now. Snow showers. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
Don't miss Cigar Night with Larry Elder and Dan Proft on Thursday, May 17th. Get your tickets today at 560theanswer.com/cigar.
So have you seen Chappaquiddick yet?
I haven't. Did you see it?
No, I haven't yet.
I was
week.
glued to the Masters.
Well, me too.
Because, you know, I was pulling for Tiger Woods, and he ended up in 32nd place.
Yeah.
It was 32nd, not 33rd.
It's rare. I mean, so you just got to enjoy it. It's rare when a historical figure of the left gets taken to task in Hollywood with a movie in general release. So let's enjoy it, shall we?
Okay.
And let me enjoy this New York Times movie review. Chappaquiddick distorts a tragedy. See, the New York Times, they don't like the way that Ted Kennedy comes off in this.
Oh, no. Really? Because he kind of like left her. We know how the story ends, but there's details that people didn't know about because everybody was so protective of their reputations. It was the Kennedys, don't you know?
Well, it's a story, as one other liberal reviewer put it. It's a story of when Ted Kennedy lost control of a car, and the car drove into the water
Because he was drunk.
And he
Do they imagine that?
lost
This is
control.
a driving impaired.
Yeah.
Classic example of what not to do when you're impaired.
The
Don't
car
get
did
behind.
it.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Uh,
right.
And
Self-driving cars back then. Yeah.
here's the I mean, there's so many good pieces here, but
Yeah, well, first of all, did anybody see the movie? 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
mhm.
Okay.
The claim here is that it's damning but not factual.
Oh.
And of course the reviewer says we need to think about how we treat historical figures in the light of being fair. Now, of course, an artist has license, but what is too much license when you're talking about the line of the Senate? Ted Kennedy has not passed into the public domain in this sense. So one tampers with his life at the peril of turning it into a tawdry melodrama. Oh, heavens.
Oh, my.
By the end of his life, the then white Maine senator had managed to transcend celebrity and emotional paralysis and become what he had long aspired to be, an indispensable legislator whose achievements included the 18-year-old vote, Americans with Disabilities Act, and the Children's Health Insurance Program. Maybe someday we can have a true accounting of the sin and redemption that punctuated Kennedy's life, writes this reviewer. I'll tell you what, why don't you get busy with that script there, champ?
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, the screenwriter Taylor Allen said, "For me, the truth has no political party," and this movie shows that was true in 1969, and it's true today.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Those reviews,
And
though.
Zoe's playing, what's her name? Zoe from House of Cards. The woman that played Zoe from House of Cards, she's the...
Okay.
What's her name?
Mary
Who
Jo
gets- Mary Jo
Kopechne.
Kopechne.
Yeah, so that's...
So she gets killed again.
That is... That,
She dies a lot in her...
She's
in
perfected
her
that
TV
role.
work and movies.
She's
yeah.
perfected that role, being murdered at the hands of a political hack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See
Power
what's,
mad
see what's
political
going
hack.
on there? See why they, the casting director put her in that role? Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's that. That was just great. That New York Times. I mean, that's more enjoyable than the movie. I think it's going to be. That's how enjoyable that review is.
I want to see it.
Nothing like to see them twist. David in Evanston, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. I thought Chappaquiddick was essentially a whitewash of the Kennedy family.
Really?
Well, I'm 65, so I'm old enough to remember the events.
Okay.
But there was also a documentary on the Kennedys. I don't recall if it was History Channel or who last year, and there was a big section on Chappaquiddick. And this thing, if you look at who orchestrates the cover-up, it's this cabal of old white men who are establishment white men. Nowhere does it show the Kennedy clan, who, by all historic accounts, came together, and they were the prime movers in how to respond to this.
Well, wait. According to, so let me fact check this then. This New York Times review, in one scene, Joe Kennedy, the family patriarch, murmurs alibi to his son like a mafia don, and this reviewer suggests that at the time Kennedy had been debilitated by a stroke. But anyway, did that happen? Did Joe Kennedy have a role there?
Oh, he was very prominent. I'm sorry. In the documentary, he was not shown prominently. However, Rose was. It showed Jackie flying back from France to be part of the whole clan getting together, and Joan being talked to by the other Kennedy wives, saying, "You know what? You knew what you were signing up for when you became a Kennedy. You need to get on board." But basically, Rose is nowhere in this movie.
How does Ted come off? Because one description here in this review is that his first words uttered after the crash is, "I'm not going to be president."
Yes. It does show him as just a total weasel. However, it also shows him as not being impaired. It shows him having a couple drinks, but it does not show him impaired. Everybody knows about his drinking. it showed him and Mary Jo having discussions about esoteric matters, and that there was nothing untoward going on. Well, I read an article about this movie that said the original screenwriting had a sex scene between the two of them, but that was removed. And it just, none of it adds up, because there is the corroboration by that sheriff's deputy who saw the car parked in a very secluded area. And then when he approached it, it sped off.
Well, David, let me just tell you something. If it portrays Ted Kennedy as a weasel, then it's got my $12. I'm in. Thanks for the call, though. I appreciate it.
Someone just texted me saying that they portrayed him in a sympathetic light.
Well, I don't know. Margot in Burr Ridge.
Yeah, I saw the movie. There was only one moment when I felt any sympathy for him whatever. It's when he was facing his father, and the father wanted him to come closer, and then he slapped him with his one good hand, and Teddy said, "All I wanted to do was be a great man for you." And the father, with he's had a stroke, he says, it's hard to understand him. "You will never be a great man." That's the only moment. And then Teddy hugs him and kisses him. And that's the only moment you feel anything for Teddy at all. But they really went easy on him. Like previous caller said, there was no suggestion of any sexual innuendo whatsoever between the two of them. And I was a little girl at the time. I remember everybody thought there was sexual innuendo. Even at my young age, I knew that.
But do they portray him as coming off as the coward and the cad that he was?
He's arrogant. He's the overriding arrogance is what I got from it. I mean, he is a cad. I mean, first he's going to say that she was driving the car so he can fob it all off on her. He has absolutely no problem calling the mother and telling her that her daughter's dead. That was not a problem. I mean, he's a perfect sociopath. He feels nothing for other people. That's what a sociopath does, and that's what he is.
Well,
sociopath.
It's
all about him.
If it portrays him as a sociopath, then that's good news. I mean, that's appropriate.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, very arrogant sociopath.
Than's for the call, Margot.
Well, I don't know about.
I'm going to see it.
I want to see it too, but I don't. Do you know about their relationship? Because I'm a woman. I want to talk about his relationship with Mary Jo. Were they casually dating? Were they an item? What party were they at? I mean, I'm sure it'll go. Oh, yeah. Okay, roll your eyes.
Okay. Yeah.
These are
the
things,
forest
ladies.
for the twigs. Yes. Exactly. Okay. I'll let you pour over the twigs. We got to get to Molly Ringwald too. Of course.
Yes. Pretty in Pink.
Coming of age films of my era. You were a generation earlier.
No, no. Breakfast Club was very important in the 80s. We watched it in high school.
I know, but
I'm not 90 or 60.
You were just because you were going to proms in your 20s in the 80s doesn't make you a member of the 80s generation. I just want to set that straight.
But John Hughes, I mean, lived in Northbrook, never left, never went to Hollywood, stayed here,
Yeah, well, Molly Ringwald, Claire.
You mean Claire?
Oh, sexy girlfriend!
You're conflating your 80s movies.
Bonsai!
That's 16 Candles, right? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You're exposing what I just said about you.
Well, there's Breakfast Club.
You were an imposter to the 80s.
I've done just about everything there is, except a few things that are illegal. I'm a nymphomaniac.
That's not Molly Ringwald either.
Okay. Thank you for these contributions.
You want me to
yeah.
I have two more tries.
Why don't you spin the wheel and see if you can
Right.
come up with a Jake?
Okay.
Why didn't you let me know you were a virgin?
Because it's personal business. It's my personal, private business. Well, Brian, it doesn't sound like you're doing any business.
Yeah.
That's in the library.
Okay.
Okay.
So
yes,
anyway,
as you were saying, Molly Ringwald.
back to Queenie. She writes in the New Yorker about how John Hughes films were improper.
In what
John's
way?
movies convey the anger and fear of isolation that adolescents feel, and seeing that others may feel the same way is a balm for the trauma that teenagers experience. Whether that's enough to make up for the impropriety of the films is hard to say. Even criticizing them makes me feel like I'm divesting a generation of some of its fondest memories or being ungrateful, since they helped establish my career. Helped establish. It's an understatement. And yet
That was her career.
And yet embracing them entirely feels hypocritical.
What is she talking? I mean, I love those films because it glamorized the people that were different. I loved it.
Well, she says that when when John Bender,
Long Duck Dong? Wait.
I can't have this conversation. What are you talking about? You're obsessed with Long Duck Dong. All right, we need to get past that.
Okay, just go on.
Okay?
All right.
Yeah. John Bender in Breakfast Club.
Okay, thank
not
you.
16 Candles.
And which character did he play? The burnout, the jock?
John Bender was the character.
Okay.
Okay, all right. I mean,
I'm just not going to talk. But anyway, John Bender.
Who is doing a better job of desecrating John Hughes' memory? Amy Jacobson or Molly Ringwald? Take your calls. 312-642-5600. Turnkey.pro. Answer
Everyone
line.
knows who John Bender is. Bender. Hold on, John Bender. So, no, I'm trying to beat faster than you.
Yeah.
It's a Jude Law. So he's the burnout.
Jude Law.
I mean, a Jude Law.
Not part of the Brat Pack. What else you got?
Can I have some help over here? I'm drowning in the deep end, and no one's throwing me a lifeline.
Yeah. Yeah. Judd Nelson? Not Jude Law.
Judd Nelson. Okay,
Right.
the Judd Nelson character.
He
in
was,
Breakfast
for those of you not in the 80s, kind of came of age in the 60s and 70s like Amy. Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, Emilio Estevez. They were part of this thing called the Brat Pack.
Anthony Hall. I got that name right.
Yeah. She suggests, as Molly Ringwald, that John Hughes' movie sexualized her. That John Bender takes out his rage on her with vicious contempt.
Oh, my God.
You know, mocking her with terms like Queenie. She
She was showing conflict. You're depicting real life.
Back then, I was only vaguely aware of how inappropriate much of John Hughes' writing was, given my limited experience and what was considered normal at the time. I'm a little embarrassed to say that it took even longer for me to fully comprehend the scene late in 16 Candles where Dreamboat Jake essentially trades his drunk girlfriend, Caroline, to the geek to satisfy the latter's sexual urges in return for Samantha's underwear, and so on and so forth. You know the scene, or you should. So John Hughes should be recast in light of our Me Too understanding of the world in 2018.
Leave him alone. He's dead. And he was a good man, and she should be quiet. I mean, really, that is ridiculous.
Oh, no more Yankee, my wanky.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I used to have a sore back every day when I get up out of bed. It was a struggle. That's gone. Joints, be it my shoulder, my ankles, knees, were always troublesome. I don't have any issues with those. It's really good at helping you with your overall physical health.
I would wake up in the morning and I'd go to stretch or something, and my legs would just cramp up, and cramps are killer, let me tell you. Get up and jump on my foot. And since I've been taking these, I don't get those cramps anymore.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hey, it's officially spring. Yeah, don't let the snow fool you. And I suggest you add this to your spring cleaning. Throw out that old flat pillow and buy your very own new MyPillow. Not only will it keep its shape and adjust your ideal sleeping position, but you can wash it and dry it. I washed all 4 of my MyPillows last night, and I love it. I used to have to take them to the cleaners. You don't. Just wash them and dry them at home. And yes, the best deal, the MyPillow 4-pack deal, is still available. So go online or call now to take advantage of this amazing deal by using the promo code Amy. You'll get the MyPillow 4-pack deal. That includes 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows at 50% off. So start spring out right. No more headaches or stiff neck when you wake up. It's made in America, and MyPillow has a 10-year warranty plus a 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off MyPillow 4-pack right now by calling 800-489-0201 and use the promo code Amy, or visit mypillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
Nobody should have to live with depression. Not anymore.
It's a new year. Time for a new you.
Abilify, Wellbutrin, Seroquel, Rexulti. These are common drugs prescribed for depression. You may be able to get off the drugs and the endless counseling. You've heard about the revolutionary TMS therapy.
Now it's time to get a free consultation from HPR Centers.
And your frustration with life and relationships. In a few short weeks, your life will change. It's FDA cleared, safe, and it's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield and Medicare. TMS therapy treats the cause of your depression. Millions have been treated. The results, nothing short of outstanding. HPR Centers are proud to bring TMS therapy to Chicagoland and Milwaukee.
You need to take the first step. Call.
The war on depression is over.
You win.
HPR Centers.
800-604-0208. 800-604-0208.
Go to endmydepression.com.
Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy, Ryan Kelly, at thehomeloanexpert.com. If you're like most folks, this time of year, the credit card debt really starts to add up. Ryan was telling me about a loan that can help you get rid of the credit card debt.
Absolutely. It's a cash-out refinance, and it's one of the favorite loans that we do here at thehomeloanexpert.com. It's just as easy as a normal refinance. We'll get you the lower rate, drop the payment and all that, but we'll also get you the cash you need to pay off the credit card. Stop making those greedy credit card companies rich. Month after month, you make the payments, the balances don't come down. Maybe you get really good and you pay them down, but it seems like something pops up and they're right back up. It almost makes you scared to go to the mailbox. If you're a homeowner, know this. Home values all around Chicagoland are skyrocketing. You have a lot of equity. Your home is worth a lot more than it was just a year ago. Let's do a refinance, get the cash out, and pay off all those credit cards once and for all. I'm Ryan Kelly. I truly am the home loan expert. Apply for your cash out refinance today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Pro-life and a true conservative, Mike Braun is the Christian leader we need in the U.S. Senate. Mike grew up in Jasper, Indiana, and married his high school sweetheart, Maureen. Mike and Maureen came back home after school to raise 4 kids on the same values they grew up on: faith, family, and hard work. 3 of the kids joined the family business, and you'll find the Brauns at church on Sundays. Politicians in Washington have very different values. Let's send Mike Braun to the U.S. Senate to make a difference for us. In Washington, Mike Braun will stand for the right to life, defend traditional family values, and help President Trump confirm strong pro-life judges to the Supreme Court. Christian, pro-life, conservative. Mike Braun for Senate.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Check it out, GreatParkingLots.com.
Go to GreatParkingLots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Special early season discounts if you act now. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. GreatParkingLots.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
What movie was that from, Amy?
Breakfast Club,
Oh,
Dan.
yeah, boy. When it comes to 80s trivia, you know your stuff.
I sure do.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, yesterday, also good stuff. Patrick Reed winning the Masters, holding off Jordan Spieth, closing like another Jordan used to.
And Fowler, too.
And Ricky Fowler as well.
That's good.
Although I think he...
The P stands for Puma, by the way.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Everybody wanted to know what the P meant.
Don't you think he should start calling himself Rick Fowler if he wants to be treated
It's
as
your little
grown-up?
Ricky. Ricky.
We got
so
some we got some exclusive audio of Patrick Reed in the clubhouse, really feeling vindicated, because he's a plus-size golfer, and felt vindicated by winning his first major.
Well, maybe I'm not the norm. I'm not camera-friendly. I don't wear clothes that fit me. Frighten children and don't eat their own dandruff. I'm not hygienic. I don't wipe properly. I lack style. I have no charisma or self-esteem. I don't own a toothbrush or let my scabs heal.
Okay,
I
gross.
can't reach all the parts of my body.
But he does have a green jacket. So
He
there's
does,
that.
and he's fine. Let's not fat shame him. He has got a cross, and I love his American flag yardage book that he pulled out. Congratulations to him. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Michael Goodwin from the New York Post at 8:08.
But first, here's Mike Scott.
Cubs could experience winter weather for the home opener, and a BU student from Chicago killed in Peoria. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
He got jeers and a few cheers. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and Bill Cosby also was met with chants. Justice for survivors and justice for Andrea is what they were chanting as Bill Cosby arrived in court in Pennsylvania for his retrial in the criminal case stemming from a sex scandal. Cosby's charged with indecent assault on Andrea Constand in 2004. He claims it was consensual.
Prosecutors hope the addition of 5 other accusers as witnesses will show a pattern of Cosby's alleged abuse of women. Cosby revamped his defense team after a jury deadlocked in his first trial last year.
Fox's Gernal Scott. There's no confirmation from Israel, but Russia claims Israeli airstrikes hit a Syrian airbase, reportedly killing 14 people, including Iranians.
They would have every justification to act because Iran is very embedded in Syria, along with Hezbollah.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham also wants the U.S. to retaliate for Syria's purported chemical attack over the weekend on a rebel-held village, killing at least 40 people, some suffocated from the poison gas.
We have the capability to destroy his air force, to ground his air fleet.
President Trump tweeted there will be a big price to pay, and he'll meet with senior military leaders tonight. There is outrage in Europe, too. Fox's Simon Owen live in London.
Dave, the UN Security Council will meet later as allegations fly. British charity Save the Children saying its partners in Syria report helping kids who were choking, foaming at the mouth and convulsing. Germany says the circumstances point to the Syrian government being responsible, calling the attack abhorrent. But Syria denies involvement, and Russia's foreign minister says Russian experts have visited the scene and found no evidence of a chemical attack. Dave?
Simon, Facebook will notify users today, those who had their information caught up in the scandal of a company using the data for political purposes. And Facebook's CEO will testify before Congress tomorrow and Wednesday. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Snow showers, 31 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Cubs home opener for at Wrigley for this afternoon is on tap. First of 3 against the Pirates. Not sure if we'll get this one in. Tyler Chatwood will take the mound for 5-4 Chicago. Pittsburgh comes in scorching at 7-2. An investigation is underway after a man was found dead on Chicago's northwest side. The man had suffered injuries to his face and body, was discovered in an alley near Berry and Knox. One man in serious condition following a fire on Chicago's far south side. The blaze began early this morning in an apartment complex near 110th and Vernon. Authorities are investigating after a Bradley University student from Chicago was killed in an off-campus shooting in Peoria. Najee Murray's cousin, April Hill, says Murray was destined to do great things.
Nothing's going to hold her back. She's going to keep going and surpass.
Murray was a freshman biomedical science major who graduated from King College Prep on the South Side. The number of people who've gotten sick from smoking synthetic marijuana is expected to grow. The Illinois Department of Public Health should update its fake pot victim count by around 1:30 this afternoon. Right now, that number is 95. Police in Rockford say people should be wary of Raheem King. Investigators yesterday named King as a primary suspect in a Saturday shooting on a private bus that left 3 dead. They don't know where he is. Yesterday, the Cubs blanked the Brewers 3-0 at Miller Park. Sox were held to 3 hits in a 1-0 loss to the Tigers. Blackhawks season came to a close with a 4-1 loss to the Jets in Winnipeg. Patrick Reed, your Masters champion. The news is a service of Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage is simple. You can understand the details and be sure you're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Visit rocketmortgage.com today. Licensed in all 50 states, equal housing lender. NMLS number 3030. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, there's a merger in the drug industry. Novartis is paying $8.7 billion to buy Avexis, a gene therapy company that makes treatments for rare diseases. Drug company Merck is reporting progress in tests using Keytruda to treat a type of lung cancer. Keytruda was developed as a treatment for melanoma. PayPal is making steps toward mainstream banking. The Wall Street Journal says the payment company recently added a debit card that lets you withdraw cash at ATMs. It's also working on adding other basic banking features to the PayPal digital wallet. PayPal is working with a Delaware bank to issue credit cards and a Georgia bank to handle check deposits. The Dow dropped 572 points on Friday. The Nasdaq was down 161. The S&P lost 58. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder breaks the bad news to Hillary Clinton.
30% of the people who voted for Donald Trump had voted for President Obama.
A third of the people that voted for Trump voted for Obama, and that they felt that there wasn't enough progress in their own lives, and that's why you lost Hillary. Had nothing to do with women being unduly influenced by their bosses, boyfriends, husbands. You just lost.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Buying a new tractor? You owe it to yourself to visit your LS Tractor dealer. LS Tractors give you a lot more tractor for less money compared to other brands. For starters, LS Tractor comes with more select features as standard equipment. They make operating your tractor easier with better performance to get more work done quicker. Compare and you'll know who gives you more tractor for your money. LS Tractor. Excel in your field. Learn more at lstractorusa.com.
Visit Abbey Equipment in Streeter and get more tractor.
Hi, I'm Darla from Cintas.
Oh, thank goodness you're here. We have so much to do. I need fire extinguishers, right?
We'll place them for you and be out for regular inspection.
Great. And what about my new hires?
We'll get them into uniforms and keep them looking sharp.
What about this first aid cabinet?
Fully stocked.
It wasn't this morning.
It is now. And so are the restrooms.
Wow, Cintas really seems to know what we need.
You said it.
Oh, I'm ready!
Learn how Cintas can help you get ready for the workday. Visit Cintas.com.
It is 8:07. It's a jump into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center and get a look at the roads with Al Verde.
Thanks, Mike. Right now on the Edens, no big delays. It's slow from Foster to Montrose, but just 24 in from Lake Hook to the Kennedy Junction, 31 back out to Lake Hook. Where the real problem is the Kennedy. Travel times have soared. It's now over an hour and a half from O'Hare to downtown, 58 back out to the airport. Eisenhower in, that's heavy too. An hour 5 to the post office, an hour 8 back out to 390. Stevenson in, an hour 14 to Lakeshore Drive, 58 out to 355. Dan Ryan is 43 into downtown. No outbound delays. 57, 22 minutes in. It's heavy from 123rd to the Ryan. And traffic's a service of Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage is simple, so you can understand the details and be sure you're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply, understand fully. Mortgage confidently. Visit rocketmortgage.com today. Licensed in all 50 states, equal housing lender, and MLS number 3030. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly cloudy, bit of snow for the morning, followed by a rain or snow shower in spots in the afternoon. Storm total snowfall about an inch or two, high 40. Tonight, mostly cloudy and cold, low 28. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
31 degrees, snow showers at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and I'm not sure whether to be encouraged or circumspect by the development that Fareed Zakaria, of all people, is maybe giving plaudits is too strong a word, but he's certainly agreeing that Trump has a point with the posture that he's taking towards China, as well as the tactics he's employing. Well, okay. Zakaria saying that China is a trade cheat, I should say, referencing a U.S. Trade Representative report that does detail China's bad practices, bad acts, and saying that, look, I'm willing to give Trump's unconventional approach a try, willing to give the president some latitude, because what the previous administrations have done with respect to China's cheating on trade hasn't worked. For more on this topic and others, we're pleased to be joined by Michael Goodwin, of course, New York Post columnist and Fox News contributor. And most recent column he's got on Robert Mueller. We'll get to that in a second. Michael, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you.
What about, including some Trump critics, really vociferous critics like Zakaria, and sometimes critics like Holman Jenkins, they seem to be buying the argument that Trump is making, and maybe even more so that Larry Kudlow is making, that this is ultimately a growth play, that this is the way you have to deal with China if you want to get results, and ultimately if you want to get both sides to reduce their barriers, to encourage more trade between the countries to the benefit of both countries.
Look, I think it is a solid argument. Excuse my voice, I'm a little scratchy this morning. But I think it's a solid argument. And you could actually extend it to North Korea. You could extend it to Syria. In other words, President Trump is doing things differently because the old ways didn't work. Now, they didn't work in some cases for different parts of America, but the fact is that's why he was elected. And so this idea that, oh, my God, you can't do it that way, we've never done it that way, it just strikes me as ridiculous. But yet we keep hearing that from the media as though they are cheering on failure because it will prove that they are right, that you can't do it that way. I mean, as Stephen Mnuchin said, I thought in a very good interview on CNBC last week, let's look at the positive side of this instead of just, oh, the stock market is falling or whatever, that if we can close the trade gap with China, that will mean many more exports to China from American firms. And that will mean jobs at home and more prosperity at home. It's not about starting a trade war. It's about creating opportunity for American businesses to have a playing field that works for America as well as China.
But
I mean, I don't know why it's so hard to understand that for so many on the left.
Well, because they're pushing, the mainstream media is pushing this narrative that farmers are going to be hurt, and the heart of the country, people who export soybean and corn, that they're going to be hurt the most. And is there any truth to that?
Well, a couple of points. First, it's the first time I've ever heard the New York Times express any concern for soybean farmers.
Yeah. This is the first time they found out about
true.
them.
Yeah.
They just recently
they
learned they
didn't
exist.
know. Who knew we had soybean farmers, right? But the second point is, isn't this China meddling in American elections? I mean, by targeting states, they basically said this, we're targeting Trump supporters, states that Trump won. I mean, isn't that a form of meddling in our elections? Where's the outrage? Yeah. So I just think that all of this just points up the hypocrisy and the fact that the Trump derangement syndrome has blinded so many on the left to just basic facts. They simply cannot accept anything he does because it's him who's doing it.
We're switching gears to Syria with the chemical attack this weekend, and Trump denouncing Iran and Russia as culpable, along with Assad, of course. The question of what to do, obviously you've got neocons, the kind of invade the world neocons like Lindsey Graham, who want minimum airstrikes to take out Assad's air force and so forth. But President Trump had previously said it's time for us to withdraw from Syria. There's just there's no real interest there, and there's no real way that American troops on the ground are going to stitch that country back together. And consistent with his kind of principled realism and America first foreign policy, despite the chemical attack, doesn't President Trump need to continue in the direction he started, which is withdrawal from Syria?
Well, that's a trickier one, because I think the aim of having a few thousand, we're talking 2,000 at most, I think, right now, troops in Syria, they're not ground troops per se. I mean, these are more SEAL types, Rangers. It's not to stitch back the country together. It's not to nation build. It is effectively to keep Islamic State from recreating its caliphate. It is. I think it's a very limited aim. It's not about winning the war or anything grand. It is simply about preventing the worst from happening. And I think that is a strategy that his military has recommended to him, that he has followed, and his blurting this out last week about we have to get out. I hope he reconsiders that, because perhaps it's no accident that the latest chemical attack came right after he said that. I mean, that is the world we would be faced with if we totally withdraw. And I think that is one of the considerations. I mean, are we really going to abandon this project now that showed terrific success against Islamic State when the military was allowed to do its job almost exclusively by air? So I think that this is a trickier thing than bring the boys home. I think this is a more long-range strategic project about stabilizing and not letting Islamic State get another foothold.
So because of this alleged Syrian gas attack or chemical attack, we're joining with France to do exactly what? Do you know?
I assume it will be targeted airstrikes of some sort designed to keep those planes and those weapons on the ground. I don't have any further insight than that, but that would seem to fit with our general approach to these things, maybe even from long-range missiles from the ships rather than even aircraft, because of the danger of running into Russian aircraft.
He is Michael Goodwin, New York Post columnist, Fox News contributor. Michael, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up next, Joy Reid has a very strange thought, wondering if President Trump may surrender to the U.S. Marshal's office. We'll explain. A great movie, by the way, U.S. Marshals. Today, for your snow-opening day.
Molly Ringwald was in that, wasn't she?
Yeah, your snow-opening day at Wrigley Field. I wish I could say I came up with that, but somebody else did. We're going to have just that, snow. It looks like a winter wonderland out there. I love spring snow. It could rain and snow on and off throughout the day, which is great. Game time starts at 1:20, and it'll be 39 degrees. Tonight, a low of 28. Tomorrow, things are getting a little bit better. No snow or rain, just some sun and clouds, a high of 47. And then by the end of the week, we could hit 70 degrees. Keep your fingers crossed. Let's now get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Sure, it's a busy Monday with snow on the roadways. Here's Al Verde, who's in for Jim Telemonte.
Indeed. Thanks, Amy. Dan, Eden's in. That's not really too bad. It's only 24 in from Lake Hook to the Kennedy Junction, 31 back up to Lake Hook. Everything else really heavy, though. Kennedy inbound, that's an hour, 34 minutes from O'Hare to downtown. Almost an hour to get back out to the airport. Eisenhower in, an hour 5 to the post office, 68 out to 390. Stevenson in, that's almost an hour and a half to Lakeshore Drive, 56 back out to 355. And Dan Ryan inbound, that's 42 minutes between 95th and downtown. Bishop Ford inbound heavy from 130th to the Ryan, 57 inbound from 123rd, it's heavy, 37 in from 80 to the Ryan. Lakeshore Drive southbound, Foster to North Avenue is backed up. And northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson, it's heavy, also from Foster to Hollywood. Look for delays there as well. I'm Al Verde in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
If you've ever dreamed about owning a place at the lake, then now's the time to act. On Saturday, April 28th, Kentucky Lakes' fastest-selling community is having a grand opening sale featuring newly released acreage home sites. You can get 10-plus acres with lake access and a new barn dominium for only $59,500. You heard it right. 10 acres, lake access, and a new barn dominium for under $60,000.
When are we moving the show? We're coming live from a barn dominium.
As long as it's not in Illinois. All properties have access to a 150-acre recreational park with horse trails and a neighboring full-service marina featuring a beautiful white sand beach for your enjoyment. The last grand opening was a complete one-day sellout. Call now for the earliest appointment and ask about free hotel accommodations with the tour. Call 888-GET-LAND or visit 888getland.com. Excellent financing is available, so hurry and call or visit 888-GET-LAND for your tour reservations. Barn dominium is to be built shell on your foundation. Lakeview Realty Brokers.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
It really works, so I'm a big fan. Whatever you're putting in there is good stuff. Well, I'm never without them. I've been taking them steadily since I started with you people, and it's really, like I said, I don't get to eat enough vegetables or fruit, and this is really a godsend, to be able to just pop a couple of pills, and that's it. It's good.
I'm just seeing a physical result of my new regime. My fingernails are finally growing and getting stronger, so that's great. And I know something is changing.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Aument, a founding partner of the law firm of Daspin & Aument and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Daspin & Aument needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
While adults are talking about China and trade policy, talking about the chemical weapons attack in Syria.
Yes.
Over at MSNBC, Joy Reid and her assembled panel, including former Watergate prosecutor Nick Ackerman, are talking about Trump's impending arrest. Yeah, that's right.
Let's say that Donald Trump decides he doesn't want to give an interview with Mueller, but Mueller says, oh, but you will. And he's subpoenaed to interview Robert Mueller. And Donald Trump simply says, I don't recognize that subpoena. This is a president whose behavior is very outre for a president of the United States. He doesn't seem to follow convention. Who would force him to comply with the subpoena, ordering him to do an interview with Robert Mueller?
It would be a federal district court judge. The government.
How would they enforce it?
At that point, they would make a motion to hold Donald Trump in contempt. And the question would be, what would the federal district court judge do in terms of a remedy? I mean, normally, a person who refuses to testify before a grand jury winds up being incarcerated for the time period of the grand jury, which can be up to 18 months. So one way to enforce it is to have Donald Trump taken by the federal marshals and put in federal prison until he testifies.
What if he refuses to open the White House door? What if the secret, what if he fires any Secret Service agent who would allow the federal marshals in? What if Donald Trump simply decides, I don't have to follow the law. I refuse to be held under the law. No marshal can get into this White House, and any Secret Service agent that defies me is fired.
Well, at some point, he's going to have to come out of the White House. At some point, he's going to have to leave. And the U.S. Marshals will be directed to take him into custody, bring him before the federal district court judge. He'll be basically told that either he goes in and he testifies or he takes the Fifth Amendment. If he takes the Fifth Amendment, there's not a problem. If he refuses to answer on the ground that a truthful answer would tend to incriminate him, he has the right to do that. If he does that, there's no contempt. If he doesn't do that, he can be directed to go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. End of story.
Maybe why the left is so unhinged, because they're buying into this. They're feeding into this frenzy. This hypothetical.
That's an SNL skit that they were just penning right before your very eyes. Sort of. Impromptu.
Calling the U.S. Marshals off.
I tell you, I know that we're all dumber for just having heard that exchange.
Oh, my God.
But I think you have to appreciate what is actually happening on the left and their obsession with this narrative, regardless of the evidence, or more importantly, the lack of evidence, as Jonathan Turley, who's an actual adult and a law professor, George Washington, had to say last week on Hannity, following a piece he wrote in The Hill about the lack of any evidence on this topic.
There is not a strong, credible case of crime that is emerging from this investigation. After a year, after hundreds of thousands of documents that have been turned over, after multiple cooperating witnesses, after dozens of criminal counts, none of those filings have created a nexus between a criminal act and the president, or even the campaign for the most part.
Yeah, so other than that, we need to prepare for what happens when the U.S. Marshals knock on the White House door and Trump refuses, and they have to, drag him out and put him in prison for contempt if he refuses to sit down with Mueller. And, then the last year and a half of his term, I guess he'll be in a federal prison. So then Mike Pence will take over pending his agreement to sit down with Mueller. And isn't this fun to play out these yarns?
Have they nothing better to do? I mean, honestly.
No, they do not. Speaking of Sean Hannity, I want to get to this, too.
Oh, the apology?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel apologized to him. They've been having a Twitter war back and forth for, 24 hours now?
Yeah, over the weekend they did. It ended with this tweet, which got Kimmel in hot water with many on the left. Don't worry, just keep tweeting. You'll get back on top, or does Trump prefer you on the bottom? Either way, keep your chin up, big fella, XO. That was Kimmel's last tweet back at Hannity, and this drew the ire of...
LGBT. I mean, they disowned him. They were out of their mind.
Oh, yeah.
The gay community took offense to it.
Jimmy Kimmel apologized for his... reversion back to his man show days, because Jimmy Kimmel's a bitch. So that's why he did. Here's the thing that this exposes, though.
Uh-huh.
You know what this exposes? Jimmy Kimmel's just reading a script. This is who Jimmy Kimmel really thinks. He's not, and most of these people, they'll revert to this, kind of the juvenile comments like he just made, because that's how guys will talk. And generally speaking, there's nothing homophobic or maybe inappropriate, but homophobic about it. It's guys busting each other's chops, taunting each other. But Kimmel, you can't get away with it. And you can't get away with it when you're a man of the left, when you're a succubus of the left like Kimmel is.
Well, he's a comedian, and he keeps inserting himself politically to the point where I don't know if you saw when Roseanne Barr was on his show, and she told him to shut up. She's like, stop already. Leave President Trump alone. So, I mean, he's brought this all upon himself, and he had to delete certain tweets because there was a shot of a clown with Sean Hannity's face on another man who was laying on his stomach, and he had to delete it because, Disney didn't think that it was appropriate, which it's not.
He needs to delete most of his career on The Man Show and his snarky comments on Win Ben Stein's money. Anything that's appropriate, we need to go back and sanitize for the new and improved Jimmy Kimmel, the tool of the cultural Marxists.
This is what he wrote. While I admit I had fun with our back and forth, after some thought I realized that the level of vitriol from all sides, mine and me included, does nothing good for anyone, and in fact is as harmful to our country.
Oh, yeah. Cooler heads, because
he's trying to save his job.
This country rises or falls on exchanges between Jimmy Kimmel and Sean Hannity. Please.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk China with New York Times bestselling author Ron Kessler, who had an exclusive sit-down with President Trump in advance of his book. And then a little bit later,
what are we doing a little later? Was it going to be fun?
Well, I think so. I mean, do you think Dungeons & Dragons is fun?
Oh my gosh.
We're going to have a discussion about the radical freedom that is Dungeons & Dragons. Nerd alert.
D&D. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
In Chicago this morning, we have snow showers, 31 degrees at 8:30. U.S. military said moments ago that American warplanes did not launch an airstrike on a military base in Syria. The strike came early today after a suspected chemical attack on a rebel-held suburb of Damascus killed dozens, including women and children. Syria and Russia are accusing Israel now of attacking the airbase. Meantime, President Trump warned that there would be a price to pay for that chemical attack. Facebook today notifying 87 million users whose data was improperly given to Cambridge Analytica and other firms. The firm was connected to Donald Trump's presidential campaign and did other political work. Facebook is also notifying all 2 billion who use the social network about protecting their information. Dozens hurt, 6 seriously after a bus overnight hit an overpass on New York's Long Island. The bus was carrying 38 students and 5 chaperones from JFK after a spring break trip to Europe. The death toll continues to mount after the horrific bus crash involving the Canadian Junior League hockey team. Royal Canadian Mounted Police say 15 are dead, 14 hurt. 3 this morning are in critical condition. The Humboldt Broncos were on their way to a playoff game when their bus collided with a semi in central Saskatchewan. Cubs home opener at Wrigley Field is this afternoon in between the Snowflakes. First of 3 against the Pirates if they get that one in. Investigation is underway after a man was found dead on Chicago's northwest side. The man suffered injuries to his face and body, and police say the body was discovered in an alley near Berry and Knox Avenues. Police continue investigating after a Bradley University student from Chicago was killed in an off-campus shooting in Peoria over the weekend. Chicago sports. Cubs did blank the Brewers yesterday 3-0 in Miller Park. Sox blanked by the Tigers 1-0. Lottery balls up for grabs when the Bulls and Nets square off tonight at the Barclays Center. And the Blackhawks season came to a close with a 4-1 loss to the Jets in Winnipeg. The news, a service of Staples. Staples has a huge selection of ink and toner in stock and at great prices. Right now at Staples, buy one HP ink and get a second 30% off. So you can stock up and save. Ends 4/14. Restrictions may apply. See store or staples.com for details. Staples. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
This is Dan Props with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. When are you all going to start standing up for the majority? And here's who the majority is. I'm the majority. We're the first ones taxed and the last ones considered, and the first ones punished when something like this happens because our rights are the ones being taken away. That was part of a beautifully delivered commentary by law-abiding everyman Mark Robinson at a Greensboro, North Carolina City Council meeting. Robinson's I am Spartacus moment was in response to a debate over whether to cancel a local gun show in the wake of the Parkland school shooting. We demonize the police and we make the criminals into victims, and we're talking about restricting guns? Robinson continued. I want to live in Mr. Robinson's neighborhood. He laid out the bill of particulars for the people who play by the rules only to get fleeced by the political ruling class they finance and ridiculed in the process. Most importantly, Mark Robinson reminded us that this grand experiment in representative Republican government rises or falls based on the civic engagement of the Mark Robinsons in America. It's not enough to applaud Mark Robinson. We must emulate him. I am Mark Robinson.
If you have pain, I hope you listen up. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of the side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you could be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com.
8:35 and a check of the morning ride to work in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Al.
Thank you, Mike. On the Edens, inbound just 22 minutes, Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction. It's 32, though, back out to Lake Cook. And then the Kennedy, we're looking at, it's a little better, still heavy, an hour 16 in O'Hare to downtown, 53 back out to the airport now. Eisenhower in, very heavy, an hour 28 from 390 to the post office, an hour 3 outbound. Stevenson in, that's an hour and a half to Lakeshore Drive, 54 out to 355. Dan Ryan outbound from the Byrne interchange to Cermak. Traffic is jammed. We've got an accident. It's blocking the 3 left lanes there. And Dan Ryan inbound, 51-minute trip from 95th to downtown. 57 in, heavy from 123rd to the Ryan. Bishop Ford, it's backed up from 130th. Lakeshore Drive southbound, Foster to North Avenue. Traffic is jammed up. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Al Verity on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Cloudy, cold, and snow this morning. Turns to rain by the afternoon with a high near 40. Cloudy, cold, and 28 overnight. Currently 31. Next news is coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continuing next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Forget Fire and Fury. The definitive book on the Trump White House is coming to us from New York Times bestselling author Ron Kessler, who's known both now President Trump, First Lady Melania Trump for 2 decades, and got exclusive access to President Trump for his book, Changing the Rules of the Game, The Trump White House. And Ronald Kessler joins us now. Thanks for being with us again. Appreciate it.
Love to be with you.
So it's just the changing the rules of the game seems like a pretty good thematic for this presidency, and your timing couldn't have been better with this book, given his approach to China, given some of the other foreign policy decisions he's made with respect to, for example, Syria, even subsequent to this chemical attack over the weekend. So this is something that you saw on the horizon when Trump was elected, based on your relationship with the two of them for the last 20 years?
Actually, in January 2016, I predicted in a Daily Mail article that he would be elected as president. That was before he was even nominated. So I think I really understand this guy more than any other journalist, and can explain some of his quirks and where he's headed. And the answer is he's going to be seen as one of the greatest presidents, just like Reagan, who was also reviled by the media, and yet he got rid of the Soviet Union. He boosted the economy tremendously. Same with Trump. I interviewed Norma Forder, who was his top aide for 26 years. She knew him better than anybody on both the business and social side. There were only 7 other employees when she started working for him. And she said there are 2 Donald Trumps. One is the one you see on TV who makes these outrageous comments to get attention for his brand and now for his presidency. And then there's the real Donald that insiders know, who's just the opposite. He's thoughtful, he listens, he makes careful decisions. He didn't build this empire worth billions of dollars by being a fool or a bigot or an idiot. And so on the one hand, you see the stock market booming, you see the unemployment rate at an unprecedented low level, the same with the black unemployment rate. In foreign affairs, you see ISIS almost demolished, Saudi Arabia agreeing to go after radical Islamic ideology, Trump about to meet with the North Korean leader, Trump sending missiles into Syria to make it clear that we will not be messed with.
Well,
and
but speaking of Syria, Senator Lindsey Graham over the weekend said that this is going to be a defining moment in his presidency, how he handles the Syrian chemical attack. Do you believe that?
Well, I think it's one of many. You know, he's certainly not going to back down. When he says he's going to do something, he does it. And apparently Israel has already launched one attack on Syria. But what he does is he uses the carrot and the stick, and you see that with Putin. You see that with the Chinese leader, threatening on the one hand, on the other hand, inviting him to Mar-a-Lago, and China, for the first time, voted in the UN for sanctions against North Korea. So on every page in this book, you have new information. For example, he will hand out $100 bills to janitors or other people who move furniture, but he doesn't want people to know that. He wants to have this tough guy image. He puts a mask over his face. When I interviewed him, which was the only interview he says he has given or will give for a book as president, I asked him about that little item. Why don't you let people know about the softer side of Trump? And he sort of, became obstreperous about it. How did you know that? Where'd you get that? He just can't stand to let that out. Another thing is that Melania is a powerful force. Again, he doesn't want that out. She's a powerful aide who sits in on meetings, will express the viewpoint. She'll sort of summarize what others have said and then expresses her own strategy. I quote Reince Priebus as saying that her judgment is just impeccable. She's politically savvy. She will also give articles, including negative ones, to Trump,
that she thinks he should read.
What about the savvy and the power at present of Ivanka and Jared?
Well, just the opposite. I call them the Teflon aides because they were responsible for the most disastrous and foolish decisions of the Trump presidency, namely firing Jim Comey as FBI director, leading to the appointment of Mueller as special counsel, and hiring Scaramucci. And Trump understands that there are problems. He's actually hinted to them that maybe they should go back to New York, but they're the Teflon aides, they're the family members. He is not going to fire them. I also reveal that Kellyanne Conway is the number one leaker. When I was interviewing her at the White House and it was recorded, she apparently forgot that she was on the record, and she started lashing into these other colleagues. She had this nasty thing to say about Reince Priebus that was obviously untrue. I didn't include it in the book because I thought that would be unfair. Also, Jared and Ivanka saying that they're leakers. And aides have told me that they've seen text messages that she has sent to reporters in which she leaks material. Trump was not aware of this. He is now. We'll see what happens.
And Kellyanne disputed that recently when she was queried about it, right?
Actually, she didn't. She didn't deny it. She just said, "I have a good relationship with Jared and Ivanka," and sort of went off into other subjects, but did not actually deny it.
Where are Jared and Ivanka lately? I haven't seen them, or are they still in Washington, D.C.?
Oh yeah, they're still in the White House working. And every now and then they contribute something useful. For example, Jared suggested going to Saudi Arabia first on the Middle East trip, which sent a good message to Arab countries. But if you look at what they have done, in the case of Scaramucci, he sweet-talked them into thinking that he could improve their image. They're very image-conscious, and that's why they got Trump to hire him. Just incredible. He lasted 10 days.
Let me get your handle on this characterization by Holman Jenkins in a piece in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend. I thought this was sort of interesting, talking about Trump and his approach with President Xi in China, but it's bigger than that. Trump is not a bridge burner, writes Jenkins. He's always ready to be best friends tomorrow with whomever he's at war with today. His relationship with the quote-unquote failing New York Times is the cognoscenti case in point. No news organization has been so relentlessly denounced and yet so relentlessly courted by Mr. Trump. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's very accurate. In the book, I say that Trump will call certain reporters of the New York Times, like Maggie Haberman, and certain reporters of the Washington Post, and give them interviews, and sometimes have them attribute the interview to a source in the White House. But then at the same time, he denounces those papers that gets him attention, that cultivates his base. So he's always, everything is two-edged sword with him.
So,
go ahead.
So consistent with that, if that's true, then what's his play with Jeff Bezos and Amazon?
Part of that is the same shtick to simply get attention. He wants to be the center of attention every single day in the media and in conversation, and that enhances his power so that countries fear him, or they want to gravitate to him. The same with CEOs; they want to have his support. It's simply a matter of being a strong leader by creating controversy every day.
All right, he is Ronald Kessler, New York Times bestselling author. The book, Changing the Rules of the Game, which include the Trump White House Changing the Rules of the Game is the full title. It includes an exclusive interview with President Trump, who Mr. Kessler has known, both he and First Lady Melania, for 2 decades. So insights into their personalities and those personalities informing their policy decisions. Ronald Kessler, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck with the book.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You think he knows the name Javanka? Jared and Ivanka? Huh? Collusion.
I'm sure he's up on all the nicknames.
Coming up next, something about Dungeons and Dragons. I successfully avoided ever playing Dungeons and Dragons.
But all of us were going to prom.
No, that's right. That's what you did with your time. But first, here's your forecast for Snowpening Day at Wrigley Field. You're going to have 1 to 2 inches of snow. It is going to snow or rain on and off throughout the day. A high of 38 to 40 degrees. Tonight, a low of 28, and tomorrow, there's no snow, and it's still a little chilly for this time of year, a high of 47. But on Wednesday, it's going to be cloudy, breezy, and milder, a high of 60 and possibly 70 degrees by Thursday and Friday. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Al Verde filling in for Jim Telemonte. Are there people crowding around Wrigley Field already?
Well, there's always a few people around there, but yeah, no big real crowds yet. Right now where we have people, though, is on the outbound Ryan at about Cermak. That's where an accident is 3 left lanes blocked. There was a bus involved. That's been cleared, but the 3 left lanes are iced over, and they're waiting for a salt truck to show up. On the Edens, in the meantime, it's only 23 in from Lake Hook to the Kennedy Junction, 33 on the outbound side. Kennedy in is heavy, an hour 16, O'Hare to downtown, 53 back out to the airport. Eisenhower, almost an hour and a half into the post office, and an hour 6 back out to 390. Stevenson is an hour and a half into Lakeshore Drive, 55 on the outbound side. And Dan Ryan in, that is about a 51-minute trip from 95th to downtown. 57 in slows from 123rd to the Ryan, Bishop Ford in, heavy from 130th, and outbound from the Ryan to Cottage Grove, that's backed up. I'm Al Verdi in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy, Ryan Kelly, at thehomeloanexpert.com. Ryan, I know serving those who serve our country is really important to you. You're always looking for ways to help our troops. Tell our listeners about your new program, Hero Loan for Military Families.
This is one that we're really proud of. And we've done VA loans since the beginning of time. And the problem is when you're waiting on the VA, and I'm not trash talking them or anything along those lines, but you are just what I said, you're waiting. And I think the average turn time to get a VA loan closed with most lenders is 60 to 90 days. And we thought that was ridiculous. So 2 years ago, I started the application with the VA, and I just received the highest delegation that they can bestow on a lender, meaning I can now process, underwrite, close, and fund all VA loans in-house. What does that mean for the veterans and the service members and their families? I close VA loans in 14 days, and I even pay for the appraisal. If you're looking for a VA loan, apply online today at hero.loan. That's hero.loan, the only way to VA. The Home Loan Expert LLC.
The following is a paid political announcement.
It's still hard to tell the difference between Congressman Todd Rokita and Congressman Luke Messer. Rokita and Messer are 2 career politicians, and for nearly 30 years, they've lived on the taxpayer dole. 30 years. They're both lawyers who never practiced, and their records in Congress are the same too. In Washington, Todd Rokita and Luke Messer voted to fast-track Obama's bad trade deals, to add $500 billion to our debt, and even to fund liberal priorities like Obama's executive amnesty, not to mention funding for abortion provider Planned Parenthood. In fact, Todd Rokita and Luke Messer have voted the exact same way in Congress 95% of the time. It's true. This election, remember, Todd Rokita and Luke Messer are the same. They're 2 career politicians, and they're wrong for Indiana.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because of my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO.
and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Dan Proft here, and you're invited to join me at the Judson University World Leaders Forum on April 19th. This year, the forum features former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich and former Governor of Vermont Howard Dean. The topic of this year's forum, a bipartisan conversation about leadership in divided times. The World Leaders Forum features two events, a community event held at Judson University in Elgin at 2 p.m. on April 19th, to hear from both Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean before a Q&A session. Then at 5 p.m. that evening, the World Leaders Forum continues at the Hilton Chicago Hotel at a signature VIP reception featuring a photo opportunity with both Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean. A portion of the ticket is tax deductible, with proceeds funding the Judson Leadership Scholarships, innovative entrepreneurial activities, and sustaining the World Leaders Forum. I'm excited to be moderating this year's event, so join me at the Judson University World Leaders Forum with Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean. Get your tickets today at judsonu.edu/WLF. That's judsonu.edu/WLF.
Building owners and managers. When it comes to maintaining the value of your commercial, industrial, or institutional building, there will be roof repairs or replacements for you to deal with. When you're looking for a good roofing contractor, search the ChicagoRoofing.org website for Chicagoland's best roofing contractors for repairs, replacements, or new construction. And you can check out their innovative roofing work also. All contractors at ChicagoRoofing.org proudly employ members of Roofers Union Local 11 who have undergone 5 years of rigorous training at the country's leading school for roofing, the Chicagoland Roofers Joint Apprenticeship Training Center. ChicagoRoofing.org contractors are at the top of their game and provide Chicagoland's best value for the best roofs all year long. Building owners and managers, you will have roof repairs or replacements to deal with. It's inevitable. Go to ChicagoRoofing.org. That's ChicagoRoofing.org.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
Hey everyone, Ken here from the award-winning company Income Store. If you were lost and scared in a forest, would you rather have a guide map or a guide standing next to you? Both will lead you out of the forest, one's just a bit more expeditious. When it comes to making more money, have you ever felt lost? Does it drive you a little batty when you know there's people out there, teenagers even, that are adding a different revenue stream, even in different industries, each and every year of their lives? Don't you know deep down there has to be a path out of what we call the financial forest? You know it's there, you just haven't found it yet. For almost a decade now, Income Store has provided guide maps to the do-it-yourselfers, the folks that have considerably more time than money, but they've also been the trusted guide to those with more money than time. If you're ready to stop bouncing around this thing we call the financial forest and serious about adding a second, third, or even fourth revenue model to your home or business, then you have to check out the 5-timing 5,000 Income Store. That's incomestore.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, do you remember the race and class of D&D character that you you chose as a young girl playing D&D?
Yeah,
with
in my
friends?
mom's basement.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I remember thinking the Dungeons and Dragons crew was just a little off, but I was accepting and I wanted to hear about it and try to learn. And all I know is you have an imaginary character and you're in an imaginary world.
Yeah, it's called a game.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Text from 847, Dan's D&D character sophisticated dragonborn rogue from the Guards Academy who has a drinking problem. That sounds about right.
Wow.
Although that would be my D&D character today.
Yeah.
Um,
What was your D&D character back then?
I mean, I had a few.
Okay, well, what was your favorite?
I don't know.
Give me, what were all of them, actually? I want to know.
I mean, you go with the Dwarf Ranger.
The Dwarf Ranger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dwarf Ranger. That was also a band. I think they sung Sister Christian. Wasn't that?
Sister Christian, all the
Dwarf Ranger,
has
Night Ranger,
come.
something. Here's a really good piece in Reason Magazine for the nerds and the geeks out there who didn't attend one of a dozen proms that Amy attended. And it's C.J. Ciaramella in Reason Magazine, which, of course, libertarian, talk about, base camp for nerds and geeks. The radical freedom of Dungeons & Dragons recalls a little bit of the story of Gary Gygax, who is the creator of Dungeons & Dragons. Lake Geneva.
Oh.
That's where the company was. Yeah. He was a sort of a radical libertarian, and his name popped up in a couple of FBI reports. One was in '83 FBI field report about an investigation of cocaine trafficking in Lake Geneva.
Oh, wow.
He was referenced. Whatever his role was, it was redacted. I mean, he never was pursued or anything. He also, the company also appears, TSR, of course, the company, Technical Studies Rules, in an FBI report from '95 as part of the agency's sprawling investigation into the Unabomber. The FBI was looking into a possible tie between the string of bombings and a legal dispute between TSR, the company that produced Dungeons & Dragons, and a rival gaming company in Fresno. It's interesting. But Dungeons & Dragons, the radical freedom of Dungeons & Dragons is because it taps into the player's creative potential. It's collaborative. It's open-ended.
I just went to my happy place.
You don't win or lose, Amy.
Oh, you don't win? Oh.
You create this world and you make of it what you will.
That sounds
in collaboration with your other nerd friends who are also not going to prom. Nerd! Would you like to play with our D&D group sometime?
Sure. You have to speak slowly, though, because I'm blonde.
We're now allowing girls.
Oh, you are? Oh,
yeah.
See? You've made such great strides. Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to our technical producer, Justin Kosick, Quinn McCarthy, and Keith Conrad. We're back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Just one word.